Pretty slick menu to start. Okay. November 6th, 2009, 10:28 p.m. It came without warning. What did? Nice cityscape with obviously not 3D. Whoa. Ah. Whatever that was, I'm sure it wasn't good. A magnitude 7.8 earthquake with an epicenter directly under the city. This disaster reduced one of Tokyo's busiest downtown areas to nothing in a single night. That looked a bit more than just a earthquake, but okay. The high-rise buildings that had birthed so many trends and fads collapsed, as if giving up their role in society. Black fires spread through the city. As individuals fell into the burning grip of the crowd's psychology, their terror was magnified. Combined, all of these things took many lives. Damn. The final death toll was 3,851. The final number of injured, 30,927. This event would later be known as the Shibuya earthquake. Even all that destruction, people still suffered the most in their hearts. Some who had lost their families came together to share new resolve, while others who'd been forced to watch their friends die were driven by guilt to take their own lives. Jesus. We're starting off dark, baby! As a baby was miraculously reunited with its parents after 72 hours, a child in an evacuation shelter asked her dad, "When's mommy coming home?" He had no answer. Some of the wounded made it to the hospitals by looking at real-time updates on the web. Others saw people on the internet talking about the disaster as if it were a movie and were driven mad. A homeless man was saved from malnutrition by an organized volunteer group. But at the same time, a middle school boy punched a self-centered volunteer who'd come to Shibuya to find himself in the face. It was the first time in that boy's life he'd ever been violent. The psychology toll was incredible, and many of the survivors would later manifest symptoms similar to those associated with PTSD. The young were hit the hardest, and before long, the cause of those symptoms was given a name: Chaos Child Syndrome. Oh! There it is! We got the title of the game, baby! Roll credits. Rebuilding happened at a feverish pitch never seen before. It felt inappropriate to say, "hang in there," but people felt that somebody had to do something. The new slogan was Shibuya, a city reborn, and no amount of money or manpower was spared in aiding the endeavor. The whole town was in the grip of a fever. In private, a leader of the redevelopment efforts said, "This may sound unkind, but this frenzy feels like a town burying its grief by holding a festival." Building codes were rigorously evaluated with an eye towards earthquake engineering. Perhaps in an effort to emphasize the city's safety, security cameras were put up all over the town. Shibuya would become a place where everyone could live in peace. Except those chaos children. But at the same time, a rumor began to spread about the earthquake. Something about this earthquake doesn't make sense. There were... Whoop. There were no aftershocks, and the damage had spread in a strange way. Harajuku and Ebisu, areas only a kilometer away from Shibuya, suffered few casualties and even fewer collapsed buildings. This damage pattern had never been observed in any prior earthquake, and so more than a few pundits claimed that the Shibuya earthquake must have been artificial. Well, I suppose we have a bit of a unique view on that, thanks to that helicopter somehow going down from an earthquake and all the white light. Something about that doesn't necessarily scream legitimate earthquake to me. More than anything, some of the survivors all said the same things. I saw a white light. I heard a sound like ringing in my ears. They all said that, huh? Too many people experienced this for anyone to laugh it off, but no cause of those phenomena was ever found. It was just more evidence to those who believed that something about the earthquake had been wrong. But if you focus all the attention to the rebuilding, a lot of that's going to get lost. Then, 6 years after the strange earthquake in 2015, something else was about to attract attention in the reborn city of Shibuya. And that's where we come in. If you are a god, the delusion becomes reality. About what kind of noise... I can never read that shit. All the science adventure series have like that little blurb. I always try to read it whenever it pops up. Never makes any sense, but it's there. Probably I don't read good. September 7th, 2015, Sunday night.
はい。ではいつも通り3分くらい募集をかけるんで、適当によろです。
Okay, I'm going to take 3 minutes for questions. Get to it. The second he spoke, the comment box started to fill. Yuma Otani watched it for a few seconds, and then saw the request. When does Haru tell us she's dating someone? He smiled to himself. Just what he wanted. Most of the requests were about hot actors or cute idols. His audience was so stupid that it was easy to tell exactly what they were going to ask. The problem was always whether the name that came up was someone he knew. That was a question of luck and how popular they were. Goddamn. But Haru, her full name was Haruko something or other. She was fine. Just a few days ago, he'd forced himself to go to an event he'd rather have skipped and seen it for himself.
Yes.
Okay. Satisfied, Otani got up to get some snacks, like he always did. He lived in a one-bedroom condo located 8 minutes from Shibuya Station. Cost 150,000 yen per month. It had been built after the earthquake, so the furnishings and layout were modern. A little more room would have been nice, but compared to the 40,000 yen per month place he lived in last year, it was heaven. I'm sure that's fucking like goddamn near double and then some the price. Almost triple the price. Better be better than the last one. Next year, maybe I'll move somewhere more convenient. At 21 years old, Otani felt satisfied for the first time in his life. Must be nice. In 4th grade, he gotten big into online gaming and stopped going to school. Eventually, he'd stop leaving his room altogether. In 4th grade? How the fuck do you become a NEET at 4th grade? Then he got addicted to drugs that made him sleepy, but did nothing else. Why? Once, seeing only darkness in his future, he'd planned to commit suicide. In the chaos after the earthquake 6 years ago, he'd finally managed to leave his room, but his family had already given up on him. After he failed his entrance exams, he went to live on his own in Shibuya, and he hadn't spoken to his parents since. As far as they knew, he failed the exams 3 times in a row. In fact, he hadn't even gone to the tests after the first time. Damn, now he's just straight up lying. There wasn't anything he wanted to learn in college, or any companies he wanted to work for badly enough. That's fair. And that would just be a big old waste of money, at least, you know, as far as my college experience tells me. If you go without like any goal in mind, etc., etc. He had no goal in life at all. But things were different now.
アットちゃんにもたまには本当のことが書かれてるもんだ。
Maybe, oh,
チーズでいいか。
Maybe At-chan does tell the truth sometimes. Guess I'll have some cheese. Hey, as a fellow cheese lover, fuck yeah. He took a block of cheap cheese he'd bought at the supermarket out of the fridge. Usually, he never ate anything this cheap. Oh, he's a fancy man. Okay. I don't eat this cheap cheese usually. But on Niconia live streaming, it wasn't just what you said. How you looked when you said it also mattered. Otani wasn't a good-looking man, let alone a cute girl. He was just a plain old guy. And so to keep his program popular, he needed to make them think he was poor, barely managing to scrape by, in fact. Oh, that's scummy. That's why he kept the area around his PC and the parts of his apartment that you could see with his webcam completely plain. Last month, he'd finally reached his goal of 4,000 viewers. Holy shit. Imagine having 4,000 viewers and still trying to convince people that you're poor. No one's gonna believe that. For a man with nothing going for him like Utani, this was extremely unusual. 3 months ago, he'd guessed the winners of a popularity contest, a certain popularity contest a certain idol group was holding, as well as their total number of votes. That must have really paid off. Okay. After that, his numbers had been going up steadily. Late last month, when his streams had appeared at the top of Iconia's page, he's seen a huge increase. Right now, he'd gotten above 4,500, and it was quite possible he'd break 5,000 by the end of the month. Damn, he really is on the up and up. Good for him. It was around late last year when he'd started to wonder about his power. Like a superpower? Electrical power? It was a certain rumor on one of At-chan's occult boards that made him really start to realize what he had. The name he'd chosen for his stream subtly reflected this. Then I learned that I can see the future. Oh. That would be a power. He took out a knife and cut the cheese. Better use your future sense to see who's there. There was a strange sound. Not that strange, I think it was just a door knock.
Huh?
He thought he just imagined it when... Start do begin. Knock, 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 knock. He heard it again. It was coming from the door. Someone was clearly knocking on his door. I'm glad we've established this fact.
Huh? Mitsurin ka?
Tell us no. Huh? Jungle, maybe? Suspicious, he walked towards the door to answer, then checked the clock. It was 11:41 p.m. Not exactly normal delivery hours.
なんだよ。つか、生放送中だっつうの。
I wonder if Jungle is actually like Amazon. Oh, come on, I'm streaming right now. He tried to ignore it, but knock, knock, knock. The knocking continued. It was the same rhythm at the same pace, as if the visitor's goal wasn't to come inside, but simply to make that sound. Utani felt a bit creeped out. He decided to go to the intercom camera to see who it was, but then realized it would be pointless. Only the auto-locking door on the first floor had a camera. The door to Utani's room was on the 5th floor. Had an intercom but no camera. I butchered that, I apologize. Utani gave up.
くそ。つか、用ならインターホン押せよ。
You want something, push the intercom button. I'm trying to stream, goddammit. Knock, 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 knock.
酔っ払いか?
Maybe it's a drunk? No. The knocks were too steady for that. There was no voice yelling at him to open up. Oh boy, he's real perplexed now. He'd seen this door a million times, but suddenly it looked somehow different. Someone he didn't know was on the other side of the wall, demanding entry in the middle of the night. Somehow, this made the door seem intimidating. Well, yeah. I would, like, make sure that shit's locked and then fucking... I don't even know. Stay awake the entire night, just out of fear. Utani thought he might look through the peephole to see who was outside. He was then disgusted to find himself too scared to even get close to the door. Also a fair reaction. Wait. The intercom didn't have a camera, but it did have a microphone. Don't confirm that you're home. He turned toward the living room so he could use the intercom and find out what they wanted. Utani, it's me. Sorry to come by so suddenly. Who is it? He stopped when he heard that voice. Owa? It's me. I'm very sorry to bother you at this time. At this hour. I mean. Utani tried to remember who the speaker was, but he couldn't. But from the tone of the voice and the words, they probably weren't a weirdo. When they said I'm sorry, it really sounded like they meant it. Don't open it. This is giving me not good vibes. Utani sighed softly with relief, and then realized he was still carrying the knife he'd been using to cut cheese. Don't put it down. It suddenly felt stupid to feel so nervous. He quickly laid the knife on top of the sink. I don't know, if somebody with a voice you don't recognize comes knocking on your door apologizing, I think you should probably talk back into the, like, intercom, make them identify themselves. This man gonna get killed. Right. I'll open it now. Who is it? It's me. Don't you remember? The voice simply repeated itself. Who are you? Utani whispered to himself as he opened the door. He narrowed his eyebrows at the people standing there. The people? He looked them up and down, and then looked at their faces again. Their eyes met. Who are you guys? Oh, flashing lights? That's weird. Utani suddenly felt a piercing headache. Utani closed his eyes and put his right hand up to his temple. He could feel the blood pounding in his veins through his fingers. He staggered and quickly put his other hand against the wall to keep from falling over. The pain was like the old days when he'd overdosed on antidepressants, but much more intense. He grit his teeth again. He grit his teeth again, the pain, and dug his nails into the wall that was holding him up. As he waited for the pain in his fingers to help dull the pain in his mind, Mr. Utani, are you okay? He heard a voice he heard many times before, and felt a concerned hand on his shoulder. He somehow managed to ignore the pain and open his eyes. A worried face was peering down at him.
大丈夫。最近たまにあるんだ。
Not a good thing to happen. Yeah, I'm fine. This just happens lately. Sometimes lately. I can't talk. Overwork, perhaps? You've been so busy lately. You shouldn't push yourself too hard.
相変わらず心配性だな、お前は。大丈夫だよ。さあ、入ってくれ。
You're always such a worrier. I'm fine, come in. So this is someone he knows? He opened his mouth as wide as he could and moaned, trying to ease the pain. Oh, fuck, I keep misreading these. Trying to ease the pain as he let his important guests inside. As he turned his back on his guests, he told himself that it had been a long time since he'd seen them. Or maybe not? It couldn't have had been more than 2 months since they'd last met. But he still doesn't know who they are? He knows them. They're familiar, but he doesn't know them? Is that the vibe? It only felt long because he'd wanted to see them so badly.
そうだ。せっかく来てもらったのにすまん。生放送中なんだよ。
Wanted to see them so badly. Oh, right. It was nice of you to come by, but I'm streaming. While he was out here, he decided he would cut some cheese for himself and his guests. Back to the cheese! Oh, don't worry about us.
いや、お前ら相手にそういうわけにもいかないだろ。
No, I can't do that to you guys. Hmm? What's wrong?
いや、なんでもない。
No, it's nothing. The blade wasn't cutting into the cheese. That's strange, he told himself as he pushed down with more force. Ugh. He cut into its surface, and it made an unpleasant sound he'd never heard before. But no matter how hard he pushed, it wouldn't go further. I don't know, that didn't sound like a cheese cut. Confused, he yanked the knife back and forth like a saw, but it only cut slightly deeper. Please tell me that he's not somehow cut it into his own finger. It was as if there was something hard inside the cheese, like a bone. Oh, and even though he'd only just taken it out of the fridge, it was slightly warm.
くそ、なんだよこれ。
Damn it, what's going on with this thing? Irritated, he slammed the handle of the knife against the cheese. But all it did was bash it in a little. He couldn't cut through it.
ふざけんなよ。
God damn it! I'll help you. His guests must have heard the sound, because they rushed over. They had another knife. Did they get that out? There's a trick cutting this thing. They put the knife up against the cheese and began to move it with a practiced hand. It sounds like your work is going well. They smiled at Utani, their voices slightly low. Utani realized that they were trying to keep their voices from being picked up by the streaming microphone, and lowered his voice as well. Yeah. He grinned and nodded. His guest had introduced him to a firm that handled advertising space for popular websites, which had been giving him regular work. Okay. So this person introduced Uchni to a firm that does advertising space. And has been given Uchni work. His reputation had quietly spread throughout the small web advertising industry, and soon he was getting more and more offers.
流行を予想することが肝なこの仕事は天職だよ。出来レースみたいなもんだ。
This job's all about predicting trends, so it's perfect for me. I can't lose. Then why do these streams?
一言では言いづらいな。強いて言えば、自分がどこまでいけるか試したいみたいな感じなんだけど。
It's hard to say. I guess you could say I'm trying to see how far I can go. That's right. Oh, listen to me. His power wasn't meant to be wasted on jobs that anyone could do.
誰も経験したことないから誰かに聞くってわけにいかないだろ。だから自分でやれるだけやってみたいっつうか。ってかっこよすぎか。
12 months in the dungeon? That's the long ass dungeon crawl, baby. Easy, get ready for your next assignment. Oh, that's right. I made a bit of a deal with you, huh? A promise, you could say. What's the next assignment? I'm a little scared. I'm a little scared. Don't just give me a smiley face. That's just rude. No one's done this before, so I can't ask anybody about it, you know? So I want to do everything I can by myself. Or am I sounding like a show-off? No, it's wonderful, I think. And done. After he'd smacked it a few times, the cheese was a little funny looking, but even the slices were lined up neatly on the plate.
悪いな、働かせて。
Sorry to make you help like that. It's nothing. Go on. I'll wait until your stream is finished.
ああ、冷蔵庫の中適当に見繕ってくれていいから。
Thanks. If you want something from the fridge, grab it. Oh, but be quiet. Is that really cheese? This could be the wax wrap cheese. Utni took his cheese back to his seat and saw the foot of comments reading. He's late, and did he log off? Which have only been 3 minutes had turned into more than 15. Utni put a bite of the cheese in his mouth and began to chew loudly.
申し訳ない。この安売りセールしていたチーズがありえないくらい硬くて。
So sorry. I bought this cheese on sale and it's just so incredibly hard. He apologized to the camera, remembering to keep up the act of being poor and starving. As he'd hoped, the comments started to come in. Oh, these making me sick. What? Stop is disgusting. What? Rained in Hollywood, I can tell. What happened? Uh-oh.
Hmm?
These comments seem worried. Did he actually cut his finger off? Utini's face took on a confused expression. The comments were strange. He thought there might be something on the camera, but he turned around and saw only his fake poor room.
どうしました?
Is something wrong? You're eating your finger, bro. He spoke into the camera, but the comments still didn't make any sense. They were coming in faster. Maybe there was a problem with the camera. He reached his right hand up toward it. In an instant, his headache was back. It was the same pain as before. No, worse. He closed his eyes and jerked forward, banging his head against the desk. The pain in his head was so bad that he didn't even feel it. He tried to hold his head in his hands, but for some reason, his right hand wouldn't move. So instead, he pushed his other hand up against his temple. It felt squishy. Oh. The vein was incredibly swollen, and it felt like rubber. And each time he felt his blood pulse through it, there was an unpleasant sensation in his fingers. Well, I know this game is all about delusions, and I think we might be in the middle of the first one. He stamped his feet against the floor, hoping to find some small escape from the pain. But it didn't even get slightly better. It was then he realized he was crying. He could feel the tears coming to his eyes. The pain was moving there now, too. I'm about to die on his live stream. Unable to bear it, he opened his eyes. Ugh. I'm trying to read his comments. Weirdos, you guys think that... Dude, what the fuck are you doing? He gasped. The whole screen appeared in front of him like some kind of awful magic trick. What's going on? He suddenly heard the sound of something wet dripping onto the floor. His eyes reflexively turned towards it. His right arm was gone at the elbow, and the stump was gushing blood. Oh! He didn't just go through a finger. This motherfucker went through his whole ass arm. Oh! There was a pool of blood on the floor, and the sound he heard was the new blood splattered onto it.
Huh?
Utani didn't understand what had happened to him. What was going on? He'd just gone to check a knock at the door. Told you not to open that door. I tried to warn you. The pain screamed within him. Any sense of pain in what remained of his right arm was overcome by the pain in his head. He felt nothing from his arm at all, though he saw the blood dripping to the floor. What the hell was going on? He blinked and forced his aching eyes to function as he looked around the room. On top of his desk, he found the rest of his arm. It was sitting on a plate. Oh, I thought it was gonna be the finger on the plate, but it's actually half his arm. Yummy bath salts are a hell of an experience. Oof. I'm sure he wishes that this was bath salts. I know that from experience, but I do see the headlines of Florida news. It's hard to not to sometimes. The Florida news headlines are just too good. At first, it looked like it was still in one piece, but it wasn't. Don't show the arm, just keep showing the cheese. It was neatly sliced into uniform pieces. Each piece was about 1 centimeter wide, and the slices moved neatly toward his fingers. They sat upon the plate in roughly his arm's original shape. Miraculously, he saw there was no blood on the tip of his index finger. He still didn't understand that it was really his own arm. I mean, I don't know how you could, given the roller coaster that he just went through. But sheer disgust at what he saw caused him to leap out of his chair. What was this? What kind of prank was this? The contents of his stomach flooded into his mouth. He vomited. Oh, it's all on live stream too. This guy has like 4,000 viewers right now. 4,500. The pink fluid splashed against the desk. Ugh. The sound effect. He saw something solid in the middle of it. It was a thumb. Oh, he thought he was eating cheese, but he was eating his fingers. It was covered in bite marks, saliva, and stomach acid. But horribly, he remembered it. What? When had he put that into his mouth? In his pain-filled mind, he suddenly heard a sound he'd never heard before. Each time he heard the sound, the pain in his head got worse. He turned towards the camera, hoping for an answer to what was happening. But of course, there was nothing to be found. The screen was filling with comments, but his eyes were too filled with tears for him to read them. As the whole world turned red, Utani didn't even realize that his lips were turning purple. What the fuck? Somebody really put in the text. Somebody commented on this situation. Tits or GTFO. I feel like I gotta wait for it to come across the screen again. Someone said this is great. Man, dude, people online. Live stream viewers, imagine. His lips turned purple from the lack of oxygen, but were stained with red. Well, were stained red with blood flowing from his severed thumb, which he had chewed himself. As he tried to fight the pain, he began to fall unconscious, and tears fell from his eyes. The tears seemed pink to him. Utani was weeping blood. He died, still facing the camera. His guests watched the chain of events unfold, then silently headed for the door. Just before they left the room, goodbye. They said as if nothing was wrong at all.
Hello there.
And shut the door. Hello there. Hello there. I don't know why I'm not seeing who sent that. Just nudes. I had to read off my own goddamn. Pretty sure that's just Walters. Oof. Off mark. I'm gonna tell him he said that. Where is he? Where is he? Bring him to me. But hello there, thank you for the bits. No, I can't be Walters. You think he would use a fucking laptop? I'm bored, go back to the usual stream. Man fucking died. And he's getting roasted by his chat. September 19th, 2015. Friday night. Oh my god, I'm gonna butcher these fucking names. Mamone? Mamone Takiyanagi had finished her concert. I'm just gonna call her Momo. Had finished her concert. Like always, she stayed behind to help. to help put away the instruments. She even helped clean up the audience's seats, even though that was the concert hall's job. Only after all of that was done could she take a break. There wasn't much time left before her solo street concert, but she still had to help anyway. She'd always been like that. Helpful. Even if it wasn't her responsibility, she couldn't help but getting involved. It was like in middle school, when one of her friends who wasn't as good at studying asked her for test notes. Or in high school, when a girl she knew asked her how to make Valentine's chocolates for a boy she really liked. She stayed up so many nights her own test grades were worse than her friends', and she didn't have anyone to give the chocolates to on Valentine's Day. In the end, it was the other person's responsibility, not hers, but...
要はヘタレなんだろうな。
Basically, I'm just a huge wuss. Momo was, at heart, scared of not doing everything she could, even if everything wasn't her responsibility. The concert today was another big success. Sure, it was a tiny room that could only fit in 150 people or so, standing room only. But the tickets were 3,000 yen, high for a band with an amateur vocalist like her, and they still sold out instantly. That sounds like you need to be going to bigger venues. It was bizarre how excited the crowd was. She heard sobs during the ballad, and during one of the high-tempo songs, the audience had stood up all the way to the back row.
ありえない。
This is impossible. She felt a chill and hugged herself tightly. It's not that her band wasn't popular. They started out in Ikonia, sang it category, and had kept going by doing covers of popular anime songs. It helped that her face, which had earned the nickname Scarecrow in the school, could look really good when she wore makeup. Oof. And if all of them put on ridiculous costumes and acted like idiots, some people would enjoy that. Videos of their concerts and performances pulled a decent number of views online. But Takiyanagi noticed. What'd she notice? The vast majority of people looking at the videos were people who'd come to her concerts. People who'd experienced that insane intensity were going back to the videos to try and feel it again. And Takiyanagi knew that they wouldn't even feel 1% of it.
ありえないよ。
It's just impossible. Wait, is she beating herself up because the videos just don't replicate the real thing? That's a good thing. That means more concert tickets, baby. That means more sales. He gets bigger venues. The ticket prices and audience sizes were one thing, but the strangest thing to her was their eyes. Their eyes pierced right through her, unblinking. They were like pets, totally dependent on their master. The meaning of the lyrics began to take over their lives, and they never even questioned it.
やっぱり私の声はおかしいんだ。
There has to be something wrong with my voice. Yeah, you're popular. When she first realized that this was happening, she tried to quit the band. Even if she couldn't, she at least wanted to stop doing the live shows where people heard her directly. Okay, so if the last guy, Utani, had a power, which was to see the future, apparently, it's not too out of the way to say that, for whatever reason, her voice is a power of some sort. Some sort of enchantment. But the others around her wouldn't let that happen. Your voice is amazing, they would tell her. They forced her to keep singing, even as the concerts began to terrify her. Takiyanagi tried to get out of it, but in the end, she kept giving in. She owed her fellow band members for getting a plain, dull girl like her into music. And for a while, part of her managed to have fun. But in the end, Takiyanagi lacked the tiny bit of courage needed to break out of that cycle. To just say no. Audible sigh. She forced herself to get up and head towards the street concert, which she didn't really want to do. She'd received an email. She read it slowly. No way. She almost dropped her smartphone. She read it again and again, trying to control her shaking hands. It was nothing special, just a simple message about one of the songs she'd made. Good song. Keep it up. No way. Was it from an important person? Someone she admires, maybe? Takiyanagi tried to stop the tears, but couldn't. The band would get too many messages like this to count, especially after their concerts. She knew it was rude, but to be honest, she was sick of them. I am so sick and tired of people enjoying my music. I worked really hard and I don't want people to enjoy it. But this email address wasn't for her band. It was one for a site where she had anonymously uploaded her original songs. In other words, whoever sent this message hadn't come to her concerts. Oh. So it's someone who's probably not under the enchantment. They just legitimately enjoy the song. They never heard her voice live or felt its strange power. But they still had said they liked her song. Really? That's a fucking ego boost. Good for you. Wiping away the tears that wouldn't stop, she quickly wrote a response. That makes me really happy. Thank you. Even after she sent it, she kept crying for a while. She hadn't cried this much since the earthquake. And then she stood up. Stupid things! She took her costumes for the day's concert out of her bag, balled them up, and threw them in the trash. Oh shit. Is she going solo? It was a white caped outfit, worn by some angel character in some anime. Certain fans really loved it, but she didn't care about it at all. She took a wet towel off a nearby table and violently wiped away her makeup. I think I'm okay with being a scarecrow. She was never wearing another cape or putting on makeup to look like an anime character again. Never, she said out loud. She realized she was more excited than she'd ever been before. And then she started to realize what she wanted to do. Guess I could just leave Shibuya. I'm sure things are going to get messy here. But what would happen if she said she was going to quit the band? It'd cause trouble for a lot of people, definitely. Her band was scheduled to play in the Restoration Festival. But even so, she never wanted to sing at another concert. What, like, whiplash? We went from man having delusion, cutting own arm off while thinking he's cutting cheese after mysterious people walked into his apartment while live streaming it, to this idol who's gonna leave her band and go solo. Like that. Just bam. I say that, but the other guy started off pretty quiet as well. So, I shouldn't use the street where I've done shows or my fans will see me. Wait, I'll be fine with this face. She laughed and kissed her smartphone.
やばい。楽しい。
Oh wow, this is so much fun! She couldn't wait to get home and start fiddling with her music. Over the web, she could really share her music with others. As long as they weren't hearing her voice live, it would be fine. If she just played a recording from a speaker, for example.
小型のスピーカーなら家にもあったな。
Got a small speaker in my house, don't I? That's right. You do. She'd leave Shibuya, and when she had a few more songs, she could record them and play them at a street concert. That speaker was small enough that she could fit it under her clothes to fool people. It would be rude to do the same song for every time, so each time she'd re-record it at home. Jesus, that's a lot of work. Oops. Uh-oh. This is exactly how it started last time with the other guy. Knock at the door. Red. There was a knock at the door. One of the staffers, maybe?
あ、もう出ますから。
Oh jeez, I'm coming. She smiled and answered them. Now that she'd thrown away her clothes, her bag was lighter than she ever imagined it could be. That lightness made her think about the future. She was happy. Knock. Knock. Knock, knock. Knock.
はいはい。
Takiyanaki happily danced toward the door, completely ignorant of what was on the other side. Blackness. Nothing? What happened to her? September 19th, 2015, Friday night. Shortly after she finished, she was walking through Shibuya. Are we still with Takiyanaki? She had a limp and dragged one leg behind her as if it was injured. What happened to her? Her bangs were unnaturally long. Most of her face was covered by them. She wore a dark-colored dress that seemed to melt into the night, and above it, a bright red cardigan. Her chest, arms, and legs were almost completely covered. Despite the fact that the night was still warm, she wore gloves as if it were a sin to show any skin at all.
あ、ごめんなさい。
No, it's a different person. She ran into a couple coming out of a hotel and staggered slightly. But she didn't even look at the people she ran into. She looked down and disappeared into the streets of Shibuya. Long ass hair.
きめえな。
What was that? Man, talk about creepy.
ねえ、今の人の顔見た？
Hey, did you see her face?
あ？だよ。
Huh? Why?
気持ち悪い。何あれ？
It was so weird. What was that?
何？あの目。
Those eyes were so weird. Digital native? What is this? Quick saved! What the fuck? Semi-confused, but I guess moving on. Wait. Date 9/28/15. What was the last date? September 19th. Oh shit. For example, let's say you asked a kid in middle school, do you know what Schrodinger's cat is? Most would say yes, or I've heard of it. I swear to God, every like mystery visual novel that I've played, Schrodinger's cat comes up at least once. I don't know why visual novels always bring up Schrodinger's cat. Well, we'll start by eliminating the DQNs who say they've never heard of it. Next you ask, well, what is it? Next we eliminate those poor fools who say, it's something about a cat in a box, right? Or, there's this cat, but you don't know if it's alive or dead, right? Or maybe they say, there's a cat in a box, and next to it there's a device that may or may not give off poison gas. You don't know if the cat's alive or dead until you open the box. Everybody knows that. We can eliminate these show-offs as well. Anybody from these groups is a wrong-sider. What's left? The right answer would be to describe the experiment and then say, it was a thought experiment proposed by Schrödinger to criticize a quantum mechanical theory that state collapse only occurs after human observation. But barely anyone can do that. Well, it's a lot to say. It's a lot easier to say, it's the cat in the box that may or may not be dead until it's observed. So the cat is both alive and dead until it's observed. And I'd imagine that I'm the only guy who's still in high school who knows that Schrödinger got the idea after exchanging letters with Einstein. And how do you have that information? I hate wrong-siders. All because they describe Schrödinger's cat different. I hate them. I'd taken a break from investigating the 2 incidents that had occurred recently in Shibuya, and was paging through some @channel blog aggregators for a change of pace. As always, articles about bad idols and corporations with terrible work environments were getting tons of hits. It was hard to believe that the crash of 15, a huge news story that had just happened this month, was already off the front pages. Did the people reading and commenting on these sites realize that everything they read about corporations and idols was carefully controlled? Did they know that most of the big aggregator sites are corporations too? Did they realize that the comments were all manipulated to go in one direction or another? Holy fuck! This is ahead of its time. Or things have really just been like this for so long. Kids our age were living in a world where all the information you could ever want was right at your fingertips. To those of us in the enlightened generation, ignorance was the worst sin. Oh, so they got the enlightened generation? Ooh, we just got Zoomers. Must have been nice. The ignorant were self-righteous, easily manipulated, and eager to push their paper-thin worldview onto others. They were nothing but a nuisance. The worst part of the lot were the so-called otaku. I couldn't stand otaku. They were wrong-siders. Damn, it's going after the nerds too. Take the picture on the cover of this magazine. It was from Bloodtoon. Any otaku who just watched it for the cute characters was a loser. Yeah, fucking loser. There was no point in watching the show if you were going to ignore its deeper themes. I understand that somewhat. I couldn't stand people who still held to the old-fashioned idea that only otaku watched anime, but people who ignored a show's themes and just watched it for the cuteness were even worse. They were ignoring the implicit social criticism hidden in, damn, this guy is angry.
Nani?
What? I stared at the magazine in amazement. Specifically, I stared at the box that listed the next episode previews. The text said that Eren was missing.
Bakaka!
Idiots! Damn it! I let my guard down because I knew this episode was written by the guy who wrote the original manga.
この原作者は原作のことが分かっていない。
The original author doesn't know anything about his own work? How could you remove Aaron from the story halfway through? That means gonna be shit. Not keeping her around meant bringing all the internal drama that had been built up so far to a halt. God damn it. So much for my change of pace. I knew I had to... I can't talk. I knew I had work to do on the case, but I'd put it away because I couldn't find any link between the two crimes. What are the two crimes? Could it be as trying to find a connection between Utani and Takinaki? Or are they two totally different stuff? I thought for a moment, then took my magazine from its secret stash. It was an issue of an older magazine called Cool Cat Press. Cool Cat. People called it a dating guide for normals written by someone who'd never dated a girl in his life, but you'd be surprised. Magic words to make any girl fall in love with you. Stupid. I knew it was stupid, but he read them anyway. Oh. When I ran an internet search for their #1 phrase, nothing came back. It's that big of a secret, you can't even Google it. And that was the thing. The fact that it didn't show up on the internet meant to me that it was worth something. Exactly. I know this is extraordinarily selfish of me, but may I fall in love with you? With who? Who the fuck? Caught lacking. What are you doing? I turned to yell at the voice. Oh, the mouth even moves. Oh, no way. Could that be short for Momone? No. Different person. Oh, no way. When did you get here? I hid my favorite magazine behind my back and tried to calm my racing heart. Even if we've known each other since we were kids, don't just come in like that. Is this dude actually living in an RV or in a camper underneath the bridge? I did knock. So what's that magazine? Anything interesting? It's nothing. I couldn't let her find out. This was bad. What's going on? Why are you wearing your school uniform? Didn't you go home? Serica frowned. You're the one who told me to go investigate the crime scenes for our club today. Okay. Detective club, maybe? L plus ratio plus you fell off plus fucking nerd plus quit hiding your porno. Oof. You see, I think you're kind of wrong on that. I don't think he ever was on, so you can't fall off. He's just L plus ratio plus fucking nerd who needs to quit hiding his porno. It's not even porno. It's just L plus ratio plus fucking nerd, and even that's bad. Huh? That's right. School detective club, huh? Here you go. More pictures from the crime scenes. What have I done? Whoa, that's a cool fucking menu. That's sick as fuck. I get... Okay, what did DQ mean? Pronounced Dokyun is used to refer to people who are stupid, antisocial, or delinquents. That covers a lot of people. W. Net slang, a Japanese counterpart of English lol. Oh, okay. Whenever you see W's, that's just laughing. Anything else? Enlightened generation. A word first used on the internet by the 2010s. The exact boundaries of a generation are unspecified, but it's often used to refer to people born in the 1990s. Members of this generation are... That's a lot. So if you were to combine not boomers, zoomers, and like the tail end of millennials, you have BAM, enlightened generation. I assume, at least. Yeah, it's fucking sick. That's a really cool menu. I've added schizophrenic part, but mental health ain't a joke. It's not a joke. But there's gonna be a lot of delusions going on, so it's just gonna have to be part of the conversation. And besides, he's not schizophrenic yet. Plus, fucking Boomer needs a tip guide to internet slang. Oof. Yeah, you know what? For internet slang for a different language, you're goddamn right. That doesn't make me a boomer. That makes me being enlightened. Because I entire world at my fingertips, and I just learned. So, you take that L, you get that ratio, and you fell off. I rest my case. Ooh, that was good. That was real good. Serica took out a USB memory stick out of her purse.
Oh, arigato.
Oh, thanks.
ついでに僕の PC に入れちゃってくれるか?
Could you transfer it to my computer for me while you're at it? Wow, it's making her do everything. Serica looked a little confused.
珍しいね。自分の PC 触らせるなんて。
That's rare. You never let anyone touch your computer.
別に。
Well, he's got the
お前はいい
magazine.
よ。
Not really. You're allowed. She didn't seem to think much of it as she started to copy the data off. Okay, now's my chance. The RV was cramped, but there was a lot of space for storage. I pretended to make tea as I tried to find room on the top shelf. Okay, there's just enough room for one more magazine. Slide that in stealth-like, and then it all falls down. I heard a shoo-shoo sound, like a small fart from behind. Thank you for the sound, Noodle! Do-do-do, is that the sound of you admitting defeat? I hate to see it. But thank you for the do-do-do. I glanced back and saw that Serica was using the mouse with one hand and fiddling with her Garo Froggy Garo Ro strap with the other. This was my chance. No getting your attention to the disrespect? Shoop shoo? What disrespect? The fact that I just disrespected you? Ooh. Oh, there it is. Ah, I don't have anything. Ah, actually. You see this? You see this? I'm a little gum eating boy. Empty orbits. Hashtag not an ad. Oh, no, they're really not gonna be an ad. These little piece of gum trash. Actual gum trash. Fuck. I thought that was too little. It wasn't enough. Oh wait. You see this? Unused wet napkin. You know it's gonna be used. Not gonna be used for anything that it's supposed to be used for. Which makes this the ultimate disrespect. Disrespecting the wet napkin companies who have created a product for one specific use. See this? Bam! It's not even being used now. It's a waste. and it's disrespectful, but it was in my surroundings. You did this, Noodle. Don't you forget. Don't you ever forget this is your fault. You wanted the disrespect. There you go. Hope it was worth it. Was that gum spicy too? No, actually. Mint isn't spicy. Usually. For those who are unaware, I'm a bit of a spice bitch. And by a little bit of a spice bitch, I mean quite the spice bitch. For example, that B-Dubs wet napkin I just destroyed was from last night. And I got the garlic parmesan sauce on my wings. The garlic parmesan sauce on my wings, that shit was hot. It had a spice, it had a bite to it. I had to wash it down with something else every now and then. So, I don't know if that says anything. Whoopsie. I also occasionally, sometimes if you get like the right slice, pepperoni spicy. I know, it's a bold claim. Bold claim. Peppermint sounds like it would be too spicy for you. It's not spicy. Is it even peppermint flavor? I don't even know. I think you're right. Actually, it's not peppermint. It's winter mint. So, not spicy. Just minty. Wintry minty. So, that's another L for you, Noodle. This was my chance. Frog. The Garo Froggy Garoro strap was a soft vinyl cell phone strap I'd won in a candy contest when I was a kid. You get... Well, I heard the wow and I appreciate it. That's another nice sound. When you push its belly, it was supposed to go... Garoro Garo. That what frogs sound like? Can you even wear Old Spice? Why are you roasting me suddenly? Old Spice isn't spicy. You think I put deodorant on and then go, ooh, man, my taste buds in my armpits feel pain. That's spicy, baby. I don't have taste buds in my armpits. I also don't really use Old Spice. L plus ratio plus you're a spice bitch. You're not wrong. As much as I would like to, I cannot refute your claims. Based, I believe is what the kids say. It turned out to be an incredibly rare prize that could fetch 100,000 yen at auction. But since I was a kid who didn't know any better, I gave it to Serica as a present. And that thing got fucking used. Serica seemed to really like it, and ever since she'd carried it with her. Which, well, that was fine, but... it was old and faded, and when you pressed its belly, air leaked out of its side and made a weird noise. It used to go, Garoro Garo, I think, but now it just made a strange whooshing sound. Ever since she was a kid, she had a habit of fiddling with it, especially when she was nervous or focused on something. What Taco Bell sauce do you pick? So that's a trick question. I don't pick Taco Bell sauce. Because not only am I a spice bitch, I'm kind of a bland eater too. So I don't usually put sauce on things. There's like a lot of Taco Bell stuff doesn't need sauce. Cool Ranch, I know. Cool Ranch Doritos are pretty lit. I like ranch. I would put it on tacos, I guess. You say that as a joke, but I could be legitimate. But I don't actually use Taco Bell sauce. which might be heresy for you Taco Bell enthusiasts. I don't know. In other words, she was focused on the computer. Now was my chance to hide it. Slide the mag in. I jammed the magazine onto the shelf and moved some things so she couldn't see it.
Mountain view でいいか?
Wow. Success. Want a mountain view?
いいよ、もったいないじゃん。
Nah, don't waste it. I'm leaving in a second anyway.
終了。
Okay, all done. Fire or Diablo? Ha. Neither. Whoa, okay. There are quite a few files on the screen.
結構撮ったな。
Those look like actual pictures.
成果は?
You took a lot of pictures. Any luck?
新しい発見はなかったよ。タク
I
は
didn't see anything
新し
new.
い共通点見つかった？
What about you, Taku? What about you, Taku? Find anything new that connects the two cases? No. I shook my head, frustrated.
そっか。まあ気長に行こう。じゃあ明日部室で。
Aw, I see. Well, let's not get frustrated yet. I'll see you in the club room tomorrow. And we'll crack the case. Easy. Just as she was about to leave, I got an idea.
あ、尾上。
I needed to double check my information. She was, in theory, a girl.
あ
In
のさ、
theory.
例えばなんだけど。
Allegedly. I'm just asking, but
ああ、なんていうか、お前が告白されたとしてさ。
well, let's say someone asked you out.
いや、だから例えばこう言われたらどう?
Just
誠に勝手なのですが、
I forgot.
好きになってもいいですかって。
Just hypothetically, okay? What would you think if they said, I know this is extraordinarily selfish of me, but may I fall in love with you? Hypothetically, of course. Is that what you were just saying?
それはいいから。
Never mind that. What do you think? Sayaka thought for a second.
年下なの？その人。
Is this person younger than me? Hypothetically, whoa. What is this?
Eh?
What? Positive or negative? Huh?
丁寧語だから。
Since they're being so polite. That's true. Come to think of it. Why was it so polite anyway?
年下なのかな?
Maybe they
い
are?
や、そうじゃなくて、どう?
I mean, never mind that. What do you think?
どうって丁寧だなって思うけど。
Well, I think it's really polite, but
告白されたことないからよくわかんない。
nobody's ever asked me out, so I don't know.
他には何か思わないか? こう、素敵だなと思ったりしないか?
Anything else? Like, oh, how romantic.
別に相手によるんじゃない？
Not really. That would depend on the person, right? Emotional damage. Grr. What's going on here, cool cat? An outdated magazine. What are these things on the side? It would depend on the person asking the question. What's negative and positive? Are they gonna explain what's happening? Of course it would.
そうだ、忘れてた。
What the fuck? What just happened? Whoops. No. Now I feel like I should quick save to be safe. What the fuck was that? Oh, right, I forgot. Serica stretched out her hand.
500円ちょうだい。
Give me 500 yen.
え？
Huh?
これこれ、忘れてた。
So I tried the arrow keys. I tried the arrow keys and they didn't do anything. So maybe it wasn't the arrow keys? Actually, maybe if we cheat and look at the config, we can look at the controls, maybe? Oh, you can set voices individually. That's kind of cool. You can turn the voices on and off individually as well. You're actually... There might come a point where I turned off Takaru's voice if he ends up being the main character, which I feel like he is. Help? Controls? Was that a delusion trigger? Was I supposed to use Z and C? Oh no, they would have had to explain it first, wouldn't they? I guess I'll learn eventually. Here, I forgot. She showed me the paper bag she was holding.
さっきそこでゲンさんに会ったの。タクにいつものだって言って渡してくれって。特価で500円でいいって立て替えたの。
I just ran into again. He gave me this. Said it was your usual. I paid him 500 yen for it.
いつもの？
My usual? Confused, I took the bag from her. Gen's usual changed every time I talked to him, so I couldn't count on it. What was it today? Oh no, not more magazines. Brother got outed. That drunk old bastard!
何？いつものって。
What's your usual?
なんでもない。ほら、
Nothing.
500円。
Here, 500 yen. I forced 500 yen into her hands. Ignoring her persistent questions, I led her to the door.
明日学校で。
I'll see you at school tomorrow.
え？
Please leave my house.
データはありがとう。助かった。
Thanks for the pictures. They're a big help. Please leave my house.
だよ。
Fine. Reluctantly, she left my room. Phew. Damn it. That goddamn old man. Please exit the RV, ma'am. Please leave. Sure, this is what I always bought from Gen. But the information in the last one was no good. What the heck was a cool cat anyway? A cold cat? Is it cold because it's dead? Well, that's quite the leap. 100 ways to secretly show your sexy side. Damn, 100 ways?
じゃない。
No. I needed to hide this too. But I had so many of them now. I was running out of room on the top shelf. Maybe get rid of them? When I tried to force it in, a mountain of old papers came falling out. Damn it. No room, huh? What's this? It was an old scrapbook about the murders that had occurred 6 years ago in Shibuya. I bought it from Gen, too, to think of it. I'd already scanned it, but had forgotten to throw out the original. How could I, of all people, be so lax with information? I just have to bundle it up with the rest of my collection. My eyes lingered for a second on the page. Come to think of it. Is there a connection? I quickly ran over to my PC. I opened the files in the case that I'd been looking for. Seriously? My words were a whisper. I looked back at the scrapbook, then compared it to the data on the PC. There was no doubt. I kept looking at it, and it kept saying the same thing. But this... If my hypothesis was right... I'm sure the police haven't even noticed. Uh-oh. That's a lot to fucking read. Wait, I have to control the computer? Alright, I guess we'll start. Oh, okay. I have to read an entire fucking Reddit thread? Alright. Buckle in, y'all. Strange sumo stickers increased in Shibuya. Name, finance star Milk Girl at reproduction prohibited. What the fuck? Lately, stickers with the face of a sumo wrestler on them have been appearing around Shibuya. That's the title, okay. You started seeing them on signs and guardrails all over Shibuya 5 or 6 years ago. There are a lot of other stickers put up by graffiti artists, but Shibuya in particular has had a number of these sumo stickers. Some have speculated they're a message from a terrorist group, perhaps a cult. But as of now, there's nothing more than a hypothesis. When asked about the stickers, a 41-year-old man who worked in Jinin, Shibuya hair salon, said, "They're creepy. I wish whoever it was would stop destroying the Shibuya landscape with their goddamn stickers." Sometimes residents will take them down, only to see them reappear later. Shibuya City Hall says, quote, "We are continuing our community outreach efforts to help stop these stickers from being put up. But also, there are no plans to use city funds to remove the stickers." So they're actually doing nothing then. Police have said that placing these stickers on public property is a misdemeanor, but it's extremely difficult to prosecute without catching someone in the act of doing so. They have no current plans for dealing with the stickers either. The citizens of Shibuya are going to be stuck with these stickers for a while, it seems. By Anonymous. After I saw one 2 years ago, I've just been seeing them everywhere. It feels like there are even more lately. Another one today. And another one. These two. At 174. Okay, what the fuck, lol? There was one under the escalator in Hikario? I can't say that. Hikariwo? How the hell did they get one down there? Took this a few years back. I wonder if it's still there. 178. At 178. I saw that one too, lol. That's crazy. Gatsuandosu. Not sure what that means. But there's more. I always feel sick when I see that face. I once threw up when I saw one of those stickers. Shit sucks. Whoever put them up needs to fold. What does that mean? Why did you throw up when you saw a sticker? I heard if you scribble on top of one of the sumo... Wait. I heard if you scribble on top of one, the sumo wrestler curses you. Anyone else notice that it's impossible to get the damn things off? Saw my first one today. Stop upping these things, Anon. There's a shit ton of them if you image search. I actually saw one of those talking once. It was yelling, "Dasukoi!" Time for your meds, Grandpa. Somebody make a delude map that lists all their locations. You'll be at it for years. So if you go to Shibuya, you get stared by sumo wrestlers, right? I don't understand the sluts that go to Shibuya to enjoy that. Damn, Anon. Chill the fuck out. They should just put up a bunch of cute anime girl stickers instead, like Hanona or Seratan. Then all the otaku dorks would move from Akihabara to Shibuya. I vote for Hangetsu Kamiyama. I feel pressure coming from Ryogoku. This is my prophecy unto you. Someday we'll see a sumo judge sticker. True dat. True dat. Is this really his like background? His desktop? Like a real Akuma background? On brand for Anon. It really is on brand for Anon. Let's see what he's got here. My computer, recycling bin, internet escape. We don't explore it, we escape the internet. Hachi base, whatever that is. iTunes. Rhine. Folders I can't read. After Action, not to be confused with After Effects. The photo store element, of course. Good old Windows 7. Can I interact with the desktop? I don't know. The answer is no. We try to close internet escape, for example. No. At this point, only a few people were talking about the sumo wrestler stickers. Who could have known that these eerie stickers would mark the beginning of a world-changing event? That is extra eerie. But hey, time for school. And so, this is a magazine article about the incident that occurred on the 7th. Schoolboy. The 7th? The suicide that took place during a Nikonia stream, right? I read that article. What? I don't think it was technically suicide. Sure. He started to cut his arm off. But he's not the one who cut it all the way off. We don't know for sure that it was a suicide, though. People on the net are calling it the "don't look at me" case. And here's the video of the broadcast. Oh god. Hey, watch this video of this guy eating his own thumb. I saw that too. Wait, we saw it together.
And
here's the building it took place in. Onoe took more photos from me yesterday. Oh, rip. Oh, did you miss the first bit? Not much happened. I say not much happened, but a man killed himself. As technically the backstory is, there was a 7.8, I believe, magnitude earthquake that was sent where the epicenter was Shibuya, that destroyed Shibuya until it was fixed. There was something about the surviving kids who survived the incident now being called Chaos Children. The name. That happened in 2009, I think they said. It's currently 2015, so as far as the game goes, it's 6 years ago. But yeah, they survived that. Chaos Children. We also started the game with a man named Utani, who was a live streamer, averaged about 4,000 viewers. Got up to cut cheese, heard a knocking at his door. Oh, he also apparently had the ability to see the future, which he didn't use. for some reason. But yeah, I heard knocking at his door, felt very ominous about it, until a voice came over the intercom. It was a voice he recognized, but he still didn't know who it was. He opened the door, let the people in, because there are apparently several people there, and he got a huge headache, and then he recovered, went to go cut cheese, noticed that the knife wasn't cut in the way that it had been, and eventually it felt like there was something hard in the middle of the cheese. So he started to like really hammer at it with his knife. And like sawing and all this stuff, but he just couldn't get through it. And then the person who had one of the people who had entered his house, or I guess his apartment, offered to help him and like showed him how to cut it and cut it into nice slices. And then he was live at the time, so he brought his plate of cheese to this desk and started eating it while talking to people. His comments were going fucking wild, and he wasn't sure why, because he was just eating cheese. Then he got the headache again, to which he then saw himself. Well, I guess then he felt almost all the pain. Noticed that his arm had been cut off at the elbow. The plate in front of him actually had like the elbow down part of his hand that was cut into like thin slices. That was cut into like thin slices. And that he had been chewing on his thumb. And he did that all while live. And then he died. And that's that case. Oh, the really bad, like, whatever it's called, recap, but that's a recap.
で、これがその部屋の中。
And this is the inside of his room.
は？嘘！お前撮ったの？いつ？てかどうやって？
Huh? No way, you took this? When? Wait, how? Until then, Ito had been disinterestedly pointing his camera at the colorful decorations in the hallway, but this got his attention. Of course it did. No one else had seen these pictures yet.
先週末な。現場向かいのカラオケボックスの5階の部屋から見えるんだよ。
Last weekend, you can see the room from the 5th floor of the karaoke place on the other side of the street.
マジで？
Seriously? Serious.
この5階から。
Here. This is the 5th floor. You could always count on him to be interested when it came to new information.
で、何？お前一人で入ったのか？
So what? You went in by yourself?
は？いえ、
No, I'm away
カ
to
ラオケ
obviously.
ボックスに。人から？
I mean, you went to the karaoke place by yourself? Or karaoke alone?
仕方ないだろ。別に恥ずかしいことじゃない。それに歌ったわけじゃないから、正確には人からとは言わない。
I didn't have a choice, did I? And it's not embarrassing, and I didn't sing, so it wasn't really karaoke. He actually went by himself. He didn't take Onoe, whatever her name is. To be honest, I was a little embarrassed. The guy at the counter, who was probably just a part-timer, had stared at me suspiciously. Well, you did do exactly as you said for karaoke alone. Maybe I had attracted his attention by coming in during the middle of the day in my uniform. And since I'd never been there before, he made me fill up a membership paperwork. I didn't know how to do it, so it took a long time. And actually, I'd never been to a karaoke place before in my life. Same?
よし、ここは OK。次行こうぜ。
Alright, I got these. Let's go to the next one.
めんどくさいな。
This is such a pain. The gym. We went over to the gym from the 2nd floor hallway. it was filled with students laughing over who knows what. All their ha-has and hee-hees. The whole school was getting ready for the cultural festival next week. This year's festival was supposed to be a big one. Ekiho Academy was the first private Thai school built as part of the restoration efforts, and so it was attracting a lot of attention. One reason why everyone was so excited for the school fair was the school's lax rules, with lots of clubs and activities. But the biggest reason was the Shibuya Peace and Restoration Festival was 2 months from now. 2 months from now, on November 9th, would mark 6 years since the Shibuya earthquake. The 5-year anniversary fair last year had affected the whole town. And since the school is in Shibuya too, it would include us. We were just simple high school. We were just a simple high school, but now our culture festival was being treated as a prelude to the big one, and supposedly there would be a TV camera filming the day of the event.
うわ、あのパチモンの着ぐるみ大丈夫かよ。
Aren't those
つかなんで
costumes
今着てんだ？
copyrighted? Can they get away with that? And wait, why are they wearing them now? Ito turned his camera towards the group of people who pretended to be pro wrestlers. Ito and I were in the newspaper club, and it was our job to record the festivities. Oh, so he's doing all this investigation for the newspaper club. I was hoping they had some detective club, where they just did shit like that. The principal had ordered that all clubs were to participate in the culture festival, and recording the festivities was our way of getting by without having to do much work. Fair enough. Recording video and taking photos was my hobby, and more than anything, it seemed like the way that would demand I burn the fewest calories. I couldn't see myself participating in any of the usual festival nonsense, like baseball teams, fried baseball ice cream. Oh, okay. Fried baseball ice cream stand, which was probably just regular fried ice cream in a ball. I've never had fried ice cream, so I would like to try their ice cream. Or the pro wrestling research clubs. Pro wrestling research club? MadKat Pro Wrestling. Or even the seance that the mystery club and fortune telling club were putting on together.
暇なんだろ。
They probably just don't have anything better to do. Probably not.
ひげを引っ張んなってもげる。
Hey, don't pull my whiskers, you'll rip them off.
はあ、これ触覚じゃないの？
Huh? The
どう
antenna?
思うよ。触覚だとしたらもいだ方がゆるキャラっぽくないか？
What do you think? If they were antenna, wouldn't you look cuter if you ripped them off? Don't rip off the antenna.
何？私、そのくだらない質問に答えなきゃダメ？
What? Do I really have to answer such a stupid question? Oof.
リア充
God damn
ただ
normals.
れよ。死ん
Go
でしまう。
die in a fire.
おい、
Damn, bro.
リア充をバカにするなよ。僕だってリア充だ。
Hey, don't make fun of normals. I'm a normal. Wasn't he making fun of normals yesterday, though?
あ、バカ、カメラ。
Hey, you idiot! The camera! He dropped it. That thing's expensive.
おい、どういうことだ？
Hey, what do you mean?
苦しい。カメラ。
You're hurting me. Wait, the camera.
裏切ったのか。レベル下がったか。
Oh no.
いつ彼女なんて作りやがった。
Did you betray me? Did you lose a level? When did you get a girlfriend?
あできてないよ。彼女なんて。それよりカメラ。
Huh? I don't have a girlfriend, but forget that. Pick up the camera.
何？
What? Pissed. I slipped out of Ito's grasp and picked up the camera. It looks like it's safe. Good. I relaxed and handed the camera back to Ito.
たくしっかりしろよ。僕らはあいつらと違って状況だろ。
Sheesh, get a hold of yourself. We're not like them. We're right-siders, right? Want me to give you a lecture about it? But you just said you were normal, Takaru.
いいか。リア充ってのは2005年あたりから使われ出した言葉で、リアル、つまり現実が充実している連中の総称だ。
Listen, the term normal first came into use on the Japanese internet around 2005. It referred to someone whose daily life was fulfilling and satisfying.
最初は対義語としてネト銃が挙げられることが多かったけ
Then
ど、
nobody's
その境
normal.
目はもうほとんどない。リアルの中にネットが組み込まれてるのが当たり前になったからな。
Originally, the term netizen existed as its antonym, but that distinction barely exists anymore. That's because the net is now an integral part of everyday life.
当初は友達がいるだけでリア充と呼ばれていたけど、次第に恋人がいることがリア充の条件になった。
When it first came into
だが
use,
これも変わりつつ
simply having friends was enough to qualify one as normal, but gradually this requirement shifted into having a lover, but this too is changing.
昨今のリア充は本当の意味で現実が充実し
The
ているか
modern
どうか、
definition of
つまり
normal.
やりたいことができているか。
I'm gonna turn Takaru down so I can talk over him. Sue's life is truly satisfying. That is, someone who's doing what they really want to do. In that sense, I am a normal. Therefore, the people over there who are screwing around and wasting time aren't normals at all. You need to use words correctly. Seriously, he needs to be careful. Just being a wrong-sided by itself is a sin these days. What fucking nerds. After I finished my lecture, I saw that Ito was staring at me wordlessly. What, did he not understand it? I'd walked him through the entire etymology. What?
お前はリア充じゃないよ。
You're not a
言葉
normal.
は正しく使おうな。
Let's use words correctly, okay? Huh?
なぜだ。
Why?
リア充はそんなこと言わない。
Normals don't talk like that.
だから
Wait,
な
why?
んでだ。
And
それに
you
告白
know,
するなら
I've got acquaintances who are women. Of course, men too. I have acquaintances, I'll have you know.
だからリア充は
Just
そんなこと
told you,
言わないんだよ。
normals don't talk like that.
理由はなんだ。理由は。
But
さらに
what's the
付け加
reason?
えならな。
And I may also add, I quickly swallowed my words.
ファッションの勉強だって
I'm
している
studying fashion too. Oof. I read the new issue of Cool Cat before I put it away. There was an article in it called Utsunomiya's Fashion Leader. I thought it looked pretty good. If I could ever wear that stuff, I'm sure. You're sure what?
んなんだよ。
なんでもない。
Nothing.
とにかく僕は
I'm telling you, I'm...
ああ、わかったって。次行こう
Er,
ぜ。
whatever, man. Let's go. As he walked away, I turned my eyes toward the group of mascot pro wrestlers.
わかった。じゃあもう全員で
All
同
right,
じ着ぐる
then
みにしよう
we'll
ぜ。
all wear the same outfit.
ああ戦隊もの風だ
You don't like Ito's
色分け
voice?
しようよ
I feel like
私
it
イエロ
changes.
ー
I can't get a good grip on his beat. Oh, like the Sentai Rangers. We can split the colors up. I'll be yellow.
その方が受け取れるか。
The
で
audience
も
would
予算
love it.
は
But do we have the budget?
あんたの小遣いがあるじゃん
We've got your allowance, right?
バカじゃないの
Shove it.
それか体に直接塗るか
Or we could paint the colors onto our bodies. It just has to get less, right?
忙しいんだ。
Busy. Real important
お
work.
帰りなさいませご主人様ケロン
Welcome back, Master Corone.
可愛くなくね。もうちょっとどうにかなんね。
It's not very cute, is it? Can we fix that?
可愛くないとか言うな
てか別にウェイトレスって
Don't
女
say
子
it's
限定
not
じゃなくて
cute.
もいいじゃ
And
ん。
wait,
男子もやん
it's
な
not
よ。
fair that only the girls are waitresses. The boys should be waitresses too.
ゲロカエルンってあんな語尾で喋るキャラクターだったっけ？
Did Garo Froggy really talk like that? Ito had just finished recording the goings-ons in the classroom. What is this?
どうでもいいよ。
Quick save? It doesn't matter. Arrow keys do nothing. Was it Z and C? Okay, they did not explain what this meant the last time. So I don't know what I'm doing with the positive and negative. I guess we'll go positive? It doesn't matter. This was class 3-1. Ito's in my class. Most of the class was busy with the Garo Froggy Cafe we were doing for the festival. Some people were ignoring the fuss and studying. Some of the otaku were reading light novels. Did they really think that if they left the paper cover from the bookstore on it, we couldn't tell it was a light novel? They were just trying their best to stay out of the way. Most people were happily making Garo Froggy decorations or putting Garo Froggy costumes and messing around. Respond negatively or positively, I guess. That's what I'm guessing. But it would have been cool if it was explained at the same time. And heck, I only guessed that that was the button to push because I looked at the controls. All the clubs had to participate in the festival, but so did all the classes. No one had told me, but evidently several months ago we decided to do a Garo Froggy themed cafe.
はっか。ゲロカエルンの声は女じゃん。
You dummy, Garo Froggy has a girl's
いや
voice.
そうだけどさ、そこは文
Oh,
化祭のノ
sure,
リ的なあ
but
れでいい
it's
じ
just a
ゃん
cultural
別に
festival. We're allowed to change it.
違うって。
That's wrong.
Huh?
Ito tilted his head in confusion. Trigger on?
ねえねえ宮代。
What? Identity disorder? You know, that weird menu that had popped up earlier, that was in all Japanese, not menu, the weird screen that had those words. I wonder if that had the instructions for how to use this portion of it. But since it was all in Japanese, I just couldn't read it.
このゲロカエルンの着ぐるみさ、ちょっと着てみてくんないかケロン？
You think you could try on this Garo Froggy costume, Cardon?
悪いな。俺たち今忙しいんだ。
Sorry, we're busy.
いや、いいよ。着るよ。
Oh, sure. Sure. I'll put it on.
あんたと宮代、あんたならサイズぴったりかなって作ってる
Hey,
時から思
thanks,
ってたん
Mirashiro.
だ。
When I made it, I kept thinking that you were the perfect size. What? I managed to get the costume on without much trouble. I slipped the top part over my head and it was pretty hot inside. And since I could barely see anything, it felt really claustrophobic.
どう？
How do I look?
ぴったり。ちょっと喋ってみ。
Just perfect. Try saying something.
ゲロカエルンだ、ゲロ。
I'm Garo Froggy. Garo.
かわいい。ギューってしてあげる。
Wow, that's so cute. I'm going to give you a hug. We're gonna piss off Ito again, aren't we? And then I felt something soft pressed against my arm.
ゲロカエルンも私のことギューってして。
You hugged me too, Garo Froggy. Really? I slipped my arm around her like she asked me to. Aww. It's his first hug.
やん、お尻触んないの。ゲロカエルのエッチ。
Oh no, don't touch my butt. You're such a pervert, Gale Froggy. Oh no. I read something once about how you could hug all the girls you wanted if you put on a costume. Did you? I don't think that's true. At the time, I thought it was a bunch of crap. Did it really work? Coincidence. I was having the time of my life when Ito?
おー、ゲロカエルできたの？
Oh, Garo Froggy's done?
かわいい。私もムギュってしたい。
Cute, I want to hug him too. Did we like give into a delusion? Is that what positive meant? Are we already having delusions? You're a pervert senpai? There's no senpai. They're classmates. They're the same. They're the same. So, you're wrong. It's not true.
あー、ずるい。私も。
Perv. You know, to cut him some slack, he probably didn't mean to. It doesn't seem like he has any visual from what he's saying.
ダメ。ゲロカエルは私だけのものなんだから。
Nope, Garo Froggy is mine. This has to be a delusion.
だったら私たち全員で。一斉に
Why don't we all hug him at once?
それいいかも。
This man is about to gain a core memory.
まあいいか。
Okay, I
い
guess.
いよね。
It's
ゲロカ
okay,
エル
right, Garo Froggy?
じゃあ行くよ。せーの。
Bitches love frogs. It's apparently true. They love frogs. And they love costumes. Uh-oh, boner alert. Oof. He is a high school student. This poor man.
ゲロカエル大好き。
This is wow. What is happening? I thought about telling Ito about this, but knowing what a skirt chaser he was, he might actually take it seriously and really try to put out the costume on. Okay. So that was a delusion then. I am concerned about the Nally Love frog emotes next to each other. I'm not sure how I feel about that. He's a skirt chaser? Didn't he literally just get pissed off because he thought that the main character got a girlfriend? It was probably better not to tell him. I wouldn't want to see him sued for sexual harassment. And decided to get back on topic. I took out my Pokecom and showed it to Ito. What the f- I'm lost. Okay, so we responded positively. So did the whole Garo Froggy thing just not happen? Does that make it a delusion? Nally Frog Inc. Oh no. Oh no.
で、これが今月の19日の事件の画像。
But here's the images from the 19th of this month. That might be the Scarecrow girl? Momoe, I think her name was? Because she heard the knocking, got the headache, and it looks like she played guitar to death.
音漏れたんか。どれ？
Leaky noise, huh?
これはまだ見てないな。
Let me see.
どこで拾った？
I haven't seen this one before. Where'd you get it?
事件のまとめウィキに一瞬な。
It showed up for an instant on an aggregator wiki. I scraped it before it got deleted.
ああ、こっちの方がアングルいいな。なあ、
This one's
さ
got
っ
a
きの
nice
カラオケの
angle,
やつと合
right?
わせてニア道にアップさせて。
I'm turning Shinji down too. A nice angle, right? Hey, let me up this to Niconia, along with the stuff you took from the karaoke bots. I've already upped it to the newspaper club's online storage. Make some adjustments so it's easier to see, then do what you want with it. News have been kind of bad lately. The last video I upped got tagged with, "Cameraman, do your damn job," and "This angle sucks." Ito looked really upset. Well, I knew how he felt. Wait, okay. So thinking with this, what if when that thing pops up where I choose negative or positive, negative, you choose what kind of delusion you're going to have. You can have a positive delusion, like we had, or a bad delusion. And the very first time, we chose to not have a delusion because we didn't choose either side. That's the working thought. Until it's either explained. The Hekiho Academy Newspaper Club had been the first in the nation to upload a video version of the school paper to Niconia. Our papers dealt with anything involving Shibuya. We did a special on the Shibuya restoration once that local paper had written about it. We won a special prize at a city journalism contest, and the video got over 80,000 views despite it being boring as hell. After that, though, I could understand being upset at the fact that the new videos dealing with goings-ons in Shibuya weren't breaking 2 digits. Oh, but the one who put that "Cameraman, do your damn job" tag on, that angle was crap, man. Oh, I was the one. Wow. Roast his friend. Ta-da, got it! Oh, and it's an original. I'm so tired. Relatable. A boyfriend and girlfriend walked in, evidently back from shopping. Their arms were full of Garo Froggy stuffed animals. I told you, that's wrong. What's wrong? Ito hadn't noticed them. I looked at my classmates who were already beginning to play with their new toys and said, I've told you this before, right? You can tell your average teenager's information level by knowing what sites they go to. This was a personal theory of mine. Smartphones and Pokecoms. What the fuck is Pokecom? Oh. Fictional. The abbreviation of a name given to a series of pocket computers with 7-inch full HD displays. The name Pokecom is unique to Japan, and it has nothing to do with the so-called pocket computers that were sold in the 1980s. These computers began to become popular worldwide in 2012 and are expected to someday replace smartphones. They come loaded with a number of different apps, such as an intranet browser, an email program, and TV watching program, video games, microblogging apps, and a camera. It said that they'll also be getting the ability to make phone calls soon as well. Oh, they're like iPods. Like, normal like iPod touches. That makes sense. Smartphones and Pokecoms had become a religion to the modern teenager, and the information they gained from these portable terminals had a huge influence on their lives. Some people also looked at SNSs like Twitter, Rhine, and Facebook. Others at Atchan and Niconia. Some looked at all those as well as the links they found there. And then some looked at all those things as well as their favorite celebrity blogs, the big @channel aggregators, and then whatever humor site was popular at the moment. All of these people were wrong-siders. And the scary thing was that these days, 9 out of 10 wrong-siders were teenagers. Garo Froggy launched 6 years ago with a cell phone strap that had gotten popular for reasons no one ever understood. and then lately a combination of Garo Froggy memes on Twitter, as well as an amateur anime posted to Nico Nia. If I remember right, it was a talking, dancing frog singing anime themes. I'd created a fad, even though I hated to use the word for something so stupid. It amazed me that people honestly believed that the rapid sounds made by the female actress in those videos were from the original. Or that the original was the stuffed animal that had come out recently that was not the phone strap. My guess was that they only got their information from Twitter. Right. Because he got the phone strap prize for Onoe, I forgot her name already. But he got the phone strap prize for her when they were a lot younger, so years ago. And it makes a sound, so he does know the OG. And a man can't be a waitress, he's a waiter. This was one of the reasons I joined the newspaper club. I didn't want to end up like them. Anyway.
Miyashiro-kun?
A girl, evidently the one in charge of the waitresses, was talking to me. Female talking to me. Who was she again? Fujimoto? I think there was a Fuji. What is it, Tanaka? Tanaka. I was totally wrong.
教室で流す映像のビデオ撮影のことなんだけどさ。
Videos were going to be playing in the classroom. What was she talking about? Oh, right. They were going to make their own version of the Nico Nia videos, where they wore costumes and danced.
そのアップとかできるのかな？
Maybe just close-ups or
ずっ
something?
と同じで撮るんじゃなくて。
Still just shooting from the same spot the whole time? What? Was she telling me to do... Was she telling me what to do? I didn't volunteer to videotape it. You guys forced me. Well, it was better than being told to dance or make the prompts myself. Oh, well... You see... You don't want a fix. You want us to move around? Fix, for the recording term, refers to acting and fixing a camera angle in a single place. Oh, okay. Makes sense.
フィックス？
Fix?
よくわかんないけど。
I don't know what you mean. Oh, we can do it. We can do close-ups or whatever.
本当？よかった。じゃあ本番までに。
See, now everyone else's voice is so much higher. That hurts my ears. Random woman voice, turned down. Random man voice, also turned down. I'm gonna preemptively turn down all the mystery characters as well. But less so we can make sure that we hear them.
どこをどう撮ってほしいかまとめて渡す。
Really? Great! I'll write up how we want you to do it and give it to you before the shoot. And then she fled. That surprised me. Don't scare me like that. I was so nervous, I was sweating a little. Ito was looking at me and sighing. What? No way are you normal, man. What? You freak out whenever you're talking to someone new. Same. I can't help it. She came out of nowhere. And what's more, I made it a policy not to talk to anyone unless it was necessary. This was the first time in quite a while I'd spoken to any of my classmates about Ito. How'd it go?
なんか自慢されてなかった？フィックスとか
He was
なんか
bragging about something, right? Fix or something?
だそれ。またうんちくか。
What? More technobabble? It already started to spread meaningless information. Stop it. Hearing whispers about me in the classroom brought back bad memories. I was starting to have a hard time breathing. Shit. Hey, you okay? I must have looked like I was in pain because Ito was looking at me with a concern on his face. I quickly nodded to show that I was fine. If you want to talk behind someone's back, do it where they can't hear you. And it's not bragging and it's not techno-babble. It doesn't bother me. Vegeta is... Who's Vegeta? Oh, Tanaka is just a wrong-sider. That's right. It wasn't worth worrying about. She was just ignorant. A wrong-sider. Ito looked over at our other classmates who were having fun. Jeez, freaking opportunists. Opportunist? Uh-oh. What did that mean again? I knew I heard it before. I ran a search of my Pokecom, making sure not to let Ito see. Opportunist. One who takes advantage of any opportunity to achieve an end. That's right. I think that's exactly the right word. They'll take any opportunity to bring you down. You've got that right. Ito nodded, annoyed. Good. Looks like he didn't find out. Do the otaku at the bottom of the school caste system always have to give the people above us something to talk about? Hold it. The school caste system wasn't something I cared about, but... Hey, I'm not an otaku. Can we get back to the murders? Not this again. What do you mean, again? I just don't like it when people are wrong. Do you want... No! I don't want a lecture. The definition of the word otaku is changing, and the negative connotations it originally had are disappearing, but even now in 2015, it still mostly serves to denote those obsessed with anime, light novels, video games, and idols. I thought I saw a boy reading a light novel turn towards me, but I didn't care. I don't watch stupid anime or read stupid light novels. It's a waste of time. Aren't you going on about some great anime? How great some anime was? What was it? Blood Tune? Yeah, he's acting a little sus. I think he's just a otaku in denial. I said I don't watch anime, that's stupid. It's no different from people who ignore quality movies like The Two Veronicas or It's My Wonderful Life and just watch the same stuff over and over. And say anyone who hasn't seen this show is a casual. I get it. Or people who lie about having read books like The Cities in Sequence or Winter's Garden and just read light novels all day. The word otaku refers to people like that, who only bother to absorb information about subjects they enjoy. How dare. Camera otaku always seem like a bunch of weirdos to me. As long as I'm not bothering anyone, who cares? I'm a Johnny otaku myself. That has to be a typo. Who cares? Stop it, please. More than anything, I don't want to be the same as you people. And then the door to the classroom flew open. A female student was looking in. Should we see what a negative delusion looks like? Assuming this is what's happening? Just when something bad happens. She must have been in a hurry, because she was a little out of breath. She brushed her long hair out of her eyes and was about to come inside. No, what's up? Oh, Empress, perfect timing. The whole class started to talk about her.
ちょっと
Hold on. She was about to say something when her foot caught on one of the cables running across the room. Oh no. Ah! And she suddenly tripped and died. Trigger on. Watch out! I moved quickly. She staggered forward, but I reached out my hand to keep her from falling. Oof. For some reason, I felt a powerful impact on the top of my skull as I slammed into the ground. My vision went black. I was about to pass out. What the heck just happened? Allow me to explain. When the Empress lost her balance, for some reason she decided to regain it by jumping. The momentum caused her body to twist in the air. As a result, she landed on a perfect flying roundhouse kick to Miyashiro's head. Oof. Miyashiro loses the bout by TKO. That wasn't so bad. Given that was just one possibility, I probably shouldn't do anything. She almost tripped, but managed to keep her balance. Is his delusions a form of future sight? Or a possible future sight? Like just peek into a possible possibility? She smiled a bit and took a deep breath. All the students around her, boys and girls alike, began to move. They surrounded her as if welcoming a long-lost family member. Hey, who put this cable here? That's dangerous. Let's fuck up. Oh no, I'm sorry. Empress, you okay? Yeah, don't worry about me. She answered them with a smile. I felt like our eyes met. I looked away without thinking. No, Kurisu. The first student council president of Hekiho Academy. Hey, so for our class cafe, we got the kitchen, and then the other part, what do you call it, where the customers sit? Kurisu smiled a little as she spoke. You mean the hall? Yeah, the hall. Did Mr. Wacky adjust the numbers of curtains we've got to partition the two? Adjust? Did Mr. Waku say he was going to do that, Masuda? Huh? You hadn't heard? Nope. Which means he definitely didn't do it. Fine, I'll talk to him. You sure? That teacher seems to have their eyes on you, Empress. Actually, they seem scared of you. The student council president's job is to make this teacher's lives difficult for the benefit of the students. Don't worry, I'll use what little power I've got. Oh, and Masuda, stop calling me Empress. Thanks, Empress. Now listen. Now listen, you. Most of the boys in the class called Kurisu Empress as a joke. She'd gotten the name after becoming a hero to her fellow students through gallant deeds like putting an end to the principal's endless homeroom speeches. Not to mention bringing more types of bread to the school store. It's very easy to win over the hearts of high school students. As far as, like, class presidents go. Should be up for re-election easy. Just new bread, make the principal stop fucking talking. That easy. Thanks for the costume, no, it was a perfect fit. All these random characters.
私が試着した時、最後までファスナー上がらなかったんだけど。
When I wore that, I couldn't get the zipper all the way up. Oh, should I have kept my mouth shut?
呼び込み禁止にするからね。
I can stop you guys from doing any advertising, you know.
ああ、ごめん、嘘嘘。ピチピチだから。
I'm sorry, it was a joke. You're just fine. I mean it. And wait, it probably got stuck on your breast anyway, didn't it?
冗談。期待してるから。
It was a joke. I'm counting on you, okay? Get lots of laughs. What a jokester, the student council president. She was popular. She even knew the names of students in other classes? Question mark? The top of the school caste system. That was the first phrase that came to mind. And then...
Takuru, 話があるの。
Takuru, can we talk? Can you come with me? Kurisu walked all the way over to me and Ito. Her expression was so kind, it seemed like she had been putting on some kind of act. I could see that all the people who'd been surrounding her were staring at me. What does the Empress want with the camera kids? Are they friends?
知らないの？
What?
ノノは
You didn't know? Nono is?
はあ、マジで？
Huh? Seriously? She's what? I ignored my classmates' whispers and focused on Kurisu. Her smile seemed fake, as if it had been plastered onto her face. Whenever she smiled like that, it meant she wasn't in a good mood. Sorry, I can't now. I just figured something out about the case, and I'm putting it together.
うん。
The student council is really busy with the culture festival right now, right? So once it's calmed down, Kurisu... Her cheeks twitched a little. Crap. Kurisu didn't like it when I called her by her last name.
ちょっと来てくれる？物質。
Can you come with me to the club room really quick? I could sense a dark aura forming around her, hardly befitting a so-called empress.
来てくれる？
Can you? She was so close to me. Let's go to the club room. That's cool with you, right, Miyashiro? Ito couldn't handle the terror. It didn't look like I could talk my way out of this one. Seeing no other choice, I nodded and stood up. What the fuck is this? Get. Kurisu, you got a second?
グラウンドに出す屋台のコンロの数で
Is
し
this
ょ？
about the portable
やっぱり
stoves
一つ
for
の
all
屋
the
台に
food
つき
stalls in the
一つで統
field?
一する。
We decided that every stall gets one.
いや、それは。
Huh? But that's... Okay.
悪いけど例外はなし。
Sorry, no exceptions. I spoke to the principal, but I couldn't get him to change his mind. If any of the bigger groups are still upset, I'll go talk to them myself.
了解。
It must be the vice president or something.
なんで持ち場離れて。
Roger. I mean, wait. Why aren't you... where you're supposed to be?
クルス。だから忙しかったら。
Kurisu, I told you that if you're busy, we can do this later.
もう終わった
She's
か
made
ら。
her choice.
ごめんね川原くん。急ぎなの。
I'm done. Sorry, Kawahara. I'm in a hurry right now. Her tone was gentle, but it brokered no argument as she hurried to the club room.
Miyashiro, またお前か。今度は何したんだ？
Peer into the negative delusion. Mirashiro, you again? What did you do this time? Kawahara cut her off. I didn't know his first name. He was in the same class as Ito and I, and he was the vice president of the student council. Fucking called it.
いやいい。言わなくても分かってる。また例のくだらない記者ごっこだろ？
You don't need to tell me.
それとも探偵
You were
記者？
pretending to be a reporter again, right? Or was it a detective? Okay, first of all, rude. Second of all, newspaper club. I knew why he was giving me a hard time. He didn't like the fact that Kurisu was spending time with me. It's not, what? It's not any of your business, I think. It is my business. When you take up Kurisu's time, you cause trouble for me and the rest of the student council. Aw, fuck. Shut up. Oh, fuck. What? Did you just tell me to shut up? He must have heard that, because he came storming up to me. He tried to grab me by the collar, but I knocked his hand away. Instead, I grabbed his head and put it under my arm. Hey, let me go! I grabbed his belt and lifted him off the ground. Oh, a brainbuster! Drop him straight down, Miyashiro! Stop, that's dangerous! I raised Kawahara up above my head and then stood there, unmoving for a moment. Just when I was deciding whether to drop him or put him down. Hey, put me down! He flailed his legs out towards the ceiling and tried to escape. The man didn't know when to give up. I could do a lot worse than just drop you, you know. That's edgy. I shifted Kawahara around my arms and quickly moved into position for a pile driver. Oh fuck. Then I dropped to the ground butt first and slammed his head onto the floor. He did it. Whoa, a Steiner screwdriver! I heard an awful crunching sound. Did we fucking kill a man? His skull must have fractured. Oh, fuck! But just before I dropped him, I let go a little so it didn't hit him as hard as it could have. If I hadn't, he would be dead right now. Hakuryu, that's going too far. Kurisu's face was expressionless. I'm calling the police. Don't blame me. Blame Kawahara for pissing me off. You ruined your whole life over something like this? I didn't realize you were so stupid. I watched in a daze as Kurisu called the police. Kawahara had passed out, little bubbles of foam forming around his mouth. The teachers had heard the noise and started to gather around me. I guess I'm going to have to drop out of this school. Oh, is that game over? Yeah, that's what would happen. I could beat the stuffing out of Kawahara right now if I wanted to, but that would just get me in trouble. I didn't want to ruin my life over something like this. Yeah, Jesus, that was fucking edgy. So I decided to just not say anything to him. So I heard you skipped most of elementary and middle school. Is that true? I could feel my legs tense up. I stopped. My face got hot. And without thinking, I glared accusingly at Kurisu. She quickly shook her head. Kawahara, I'm really in a hurry right now. Oh, he mad. He big mad. Oh. But he kept staring at me. I felt like he was grinning a little. It pissed me off. But there was nothing I could say. I did the best I could to ignore him and turn away. I ignored what sounded like a little laugh and hurried to the club room. Man, that kid doesn't even know what I'm capable of. Pile drive his ass. It wasn't me, okay? The second the three of us were alone in the club room, her expression changed. The smile plastered on the student council president's face disappeared. This was who she really was.
何が
What wasn't?
川原くんが言ってたこと。
What Kawahara was
私が
saying?
彼に言ったわけじゃないか
I
ら。
didn't tell him, okay?
別に気
It
にして
didn't
ない
bother me.
嘘。
You're lying. Really, it didn't. Except for a causal delusion, so. Everything about me was different than it used to be.
まあまあ
So what is it?
何
Did you want to talk about something, Miss Vice President of the newspaper club? Wait, President of Student Council paper? Wait, President of Student Council and Vice President of the newspaper club? Kurusu sighed and changed the subject.
タクル、
Takaru,
あなたちゃん
Are
と
you
ご
eating
飯
right
食べてるの？
you look like you've lost weight.
少し痩せたんじゃない？
Huh? Where was this coming from?
これからどんどん寒くなってくるで
It's
しょ。
going to start getting colder
住んで
soon,
るところ
you
の
know?
防寒対策とか
Can you keep
ちゃん
warm
と
in
し
the
てるん
place
でし
you're
ょう
living
ね
in?。Ugh. Crap, she was in nag mode.
進路調査。
And I heard you told the teachers that you were going to get a job after
進
graduation.
学で提出しなさい。
I told
なの
you
に
to say
勉
you
強
were
できな
going
い
to
わけじゃ
college.
ないんだから。
Not like you aren't smart enough.
確かに今からだと厳
I
しいけ
know
ど。
it's going to be harder for you to
受験
start
なら
now,
私が面倒
but
見る
I've
って
told you before that I
俺
can
も前に
help.
調べた
Did you go asking the
話って
teachers? And wait, is that what you wanted to talk about?
どうなの？ちゃんと
Well?
食べてるの？
Are you eating right?
食べてるよ
I'm eating just
大
fine.
丈夫だって
Everything's just fine. I waved my hand to bring the conversation to a close. I didn't want this to end the way it used to. This 6-hour lecture about how every aspect of my life was wrong, followed by hard labor as my punishment. Kurusu looked like she still had a lot more to say, but a moment later,
あなた、先週
You
の金曜
skipped
日、
school last
学
Friday,
校サボ
didn't
った
you?
でしょ。
huh? Oh. So that was what all this was about?
サボったよ
Yeah, I
別
did.
に問題
Is
ない
that a problem?
あるに決まってるでしょ。
Of course it's a
どこで
problem.
何してた
Where
の？
were you?
ストレージにアップした画像。
You were taking those photos you
あれを
up
取
to
り
the
に行ってたん
storage
じゃない
folder,
の？
weren't you? Damn it. I figured that would be it. She was right. The pictures I'd taken from the karaoke box were from last Friday when I'd skipped school. I'd started staking out the place early that morning and waited for the manager of the condo building to open the curtains.
苦労したんだ
Damn, dude, brother was
お
dedicated.
かげで警察以外まだ誰も見て
It
ない
was a lot of work, but I was able to get the photos of the scene that nobody else has, except the police.
こういう事件ばかり追いかけ
I've
るのを
told you
やめな
before
さい
that
っ
you
て。
need to stop spending all your time on this stuff. Kurusu was the vice president of the newspaper club and had been opposed to Ito and my journalistic ethos for a long time. We spent most of our time investigating crimes in Shibuya. Stuff like the attacks on the homeless people that had been flooding the city ever since the earthquake, and urban legends about a company involved in the rebuilding who'd put up tons of security cameras all around the city, and a serial arson case where the culprit had never been caught. And now these strange deaths. Is it all connected? For her part, Kurusu said that a student paper shouldn't be investigating crimes. She wrote normal, sincere articles and normal, sincere videos. The video about Shibuya recovery efforts that had won a prize had been mostly her work.
タクル、
Hakudo,
今回あなたおか
you're
しい。
acting really strange this
学
time.
校をサボってまで事件を
You've
追う
never
なんて
skipped school for this stuff
今までなか
before,
った
have
でしょ
you?。That was true. But the reason why it was so obvious, right? I was lucky enough to have this huge mystery right in front of me.
今回に関しては学校をサボるのもしょ
This
う
is
がない
worth skipping school for.
なぜ？
だって新聞部
Because
立ち上げ
it's
て
the
から初めて
first
起こった
big thing that's
渋谷
happened in
でも多くの事
Shibuya
件じゃないか
since we started the newspaper club. This is a huge scoop.
おいしい？
Scoop? Uh-oh. That face was bad news. It was scary. Ito was right next to me, so I grabbed him and held him tight.
おい、縦にすんなって。
Hey, don't use me as a shield. Wait, am I a shield? Then why is her face so scary?
おいしいですって
A huge
人
scoop?
が死んでるって
People
いう
are
の
dead.
に
And to you, it's just a huge scoop? Got a point.
違います。
No, I'm sorry.
すいません。
Stay away from me. I really can't handle this.
すんなって。
Don't
ちょっと
push
待って
me.
マジで立てな。
Wait, are you really using me as a shield?
やばい、やばい。
Oh crap, oh crap. That face was seriously bad news. The Empress was scary enough that she could send a demon running in terror. I'd never even met a demon either. That's just how scary she was.
もう一度言ってくれる
Care to repeat that?
よりによって
Want to
あなた
tell me
が
again how all these deaths are just a huge scoop for you?
って
Oh. Oh shit. I needed to find some way to stop her. And then I felt the wind rush by my ears. Huh? Oh. Fuck. At the worst possible time, the wind blew through the room. Kurosu didn't even have the time to hold down her skirt. I didn't think it was gonna go here. Okay, here comes my serve. I've got it. My eyes were locked with Kurosu's as I heard the sounds from the open window. I hadn't even realized it was open until then. There was a tennis court on top of the special use building. That was probably the tennis team out there.
And his name is
That's
John
embarrassing.
Cena.
Whoa! The John Cena to break the tension. Damn. Didn't spook me though. But thank you for the bits, Noodle. I needed to say something. Well, was I supposed to tell her I hadn't seen anything?
副部長
Vice President? The woman was too stunned to speak.
白なんですね。
White, huh? I guess that's just what I'd expect. Oof. Idiot. Are you trying to get yourself killed?
私の下着の色が何色
Does it really matter what color my underwear is right now, asshole? I flinched at the sudden noise. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And then I realized. I was sure that was the sound of Kurosu kicking the wall. Or maybe the sound of her murdering Ito. But I was wrong. It was coming from deeper inside the room.
あの子はまったく
That girl. Sheesh. There was a girl playing a video game in this room the entire fucking time.
和樹来てたの
Kazuki, are you here?
和樹そうかヘッドホン
Oh, she's got her headphones on. Why is she hitting the wall, though? Kurosu sighed and pulled off the headphones that Kazuki always wore.
円数2でイラつ
I've
いた
told
から
you
って
before to stop hitting the wall every time something goes wrong in
何度も言
ESO
ってるで
2.
しょ
You know, they made it ESO 2 because it's not an actual game. But it could be now that Elder Scrolls Online is a thing.
うん壁へこんでるじゃない
Look,
も
you're
う
making a dent. Hana Kazuki, the only first-year student in the newspaper club. But forget her, this was my chance to escape. As Kurosu was rubbing the red marks on Kazuki's hand, I said,
とにかく僕は
Anyway, I'm going to keep following this case. I found a clue, and it might be a big
大
one.
きな手がかりになるかもしれない
Kurosu glared at me for a moment, but...
おおマジか。よし
Whoa, really?
すぐ準備する
Okay, I'll get ready right away. Tell me all about it, I can't wait. Ito hurried over to the club's computer, desperate for any chance to escape his doom. I stared back at Kurosu for a moment, and then...
PC 立ち上げて
boot up the computer and print out the images in the storage folder.
了解だ。
Roger. Ichu's voice was louder than it needed to be as he turned on the computer.
もう殴らないこと。
No more punching the wall, okay?
うん。
Was said Kazuki. Maybe she took pity on poor Ichu because she didn't say anything else, but she still crossed her arms and glared at us as she leaned against the wall. She was at least going to hear me yowl, it looked like. Or maybe this was just her way of making sure I didn't escape. We'll be lunch later. Why? I don't want to. For using me as a goddamn shield. This was 100% your fault to begin with. Sorry, but you were lucky. She didn't get violent. Huh? Violent? The vice president? I nodded. Kurusu was the girl that everyone looked up to, but she was actually very short-tempered. It would take me more than 5 fingers, but less than 10 to count the number of times she'd slapped me hard. When I told him that, are you serious? I mean, really? Are there really teenage girls that do that stuff? That's one step short of HYS or an SKO. I'm scared to learn what these mean. Oh, SKO? A girl with sadistic personality who enjoys inflicting pain to others is extremely dangerous. Short for hysteric. Oh, hiss. Originally a term used in psychology, but here used to refer a short-tempered person who can't control their emotions. Wow.
ねえ、あなた方。
Has anyone ever told you that if you want to talk behind someone's back, you should do it where they can't hear you? The almost hiss didn't even bother looking at us as she spoke. No! We just said that to someone, though, in the classroom.
So?
I see. And then she fell silent. She was scary as hell. It felt like if I moved, she'd kill me. You're bullying, settled, supersized, and with dessert too. No objections. That was 50% your fault. Actually, it was 100% Icho's fault for not keeping his mouth shut. What? Did you see it? You saw it, right? I didn't. That was a lie. I'd seen it. They were white. They're in agreement. I glanced at Kurusu out of the corner of my eye. I guess that really was just what you'd expect. Still, I only gotten a glimpse. It wasn't entirely possible I'd been mistaken. It was entirely possible. If I burned the image into my brain now, maybe the next time something like this happened, I'd be able to react more quickly. So I prayed for more good luck. If it did ever happen again, I swore I would react as a right-sider should. What is that? A right-sider wouldn't panic over something as insignificant as seeing a girl's underwear. In a situation like that, it was critical that you stay calm. When she heard Ito turn on the printer, Kazuki trotted over like she usually did. That online game addict had the best computer skills of anyone in the club. Ooh. What kind of delusion, if you want a delusion? A lot of delusion choices. You know, since that good thing just happened, let's make him have a negative delusion again. This might just end up being the whole game. Just constant negative delusions for no reason. Whenever she was around, it was her job to run searches and organize information on the PC. But
和樹手伝わなくていい。
Kazuki, we don't need you
こ
for
の
this.
件については
I don't
部の
consider
活
this
動と
part of
認
our
めて
club
ないから
activities. Chaos. Right, it's Chaos Child. Negative equals chaos. Kazuki gave us a questioning look. Oh, yeah, that's right. Kazuki just said, like she always did, and walked away.
Kazuki, その手さっきよりひどくなってない？
Kazuki, does your hand look even worse than it did a moment ago? Kurusu's voice was filled with panic. Takuru, take a look at Kazuki's hand. What? What? Worried, I looked back towards Kazuki. She was clutching her right arm with a pained expression. An eerie, dark miasma was seeping out of it. Impossible. We sealed it away. Oh god. Is the Chunibyo one? Yep. The dark power is out of control. Has she awakened? Kurusu looked at me, suddenly uncertain. This is way too soon. The seal was supposed to last another 10 years. She's just too powerful for the seal to contain her then? Or perhaps something is approaching the city that has awakened her power. This isn't a good time to talk. We're in big trouble. Ito, Kurusu, we have to do the ceremony by ourselves. Huh? Oh crap! We were too slow to notice. The seal was about to break. Oh no. Dark Kazuki. An overwhelming torrent of darkness burst forth from Kazuki's body and streaked towards me. It was cold, like absolute zero, and I felt my mind slowly fading away. Back to reality. That's the kind of stupid stuff a third grader might think about during class. But I was old enough that it was just embarrassing. Kazuki put her headphones on and went back to the corner of the room. She started slamming keys again. What a delusion. I never did know how to talk to her. Actually, it felt like it had been forever since I'd even spoken to her. If you could call this a conversation, that is. She'd been part of the newspaper club for 6 months, and all I know about her was that she liked games, knew a lot about computers, and hated talking. In the end, Ito printed out the pictures, and I took them and went in front of the bulletin board before Kurusu changed her mind. If Kurusu was going to listen, it was probably better to start at the beginning. Also for the audience. She didn't seem interested in the cases, but if I ignored her and made her even madder, even using Ito as a shield wouldn't be enough to save me. There are 2 cases we're looking at right now. The first occurred on the 7th of this month, during Nikonia's livestream. During a Nikonia livestream. It was a public suicide called the Don't Look at Me case. It happened here in Jinan. Just like you probably guessed, a man killed himself without warning during a Nikonia livestream. Strictly speaking, we don't know for sure that it's a suicide, but it sure looks like one. The dead man's name is Yuma Utani, age 21. He was a live streamer who got quite a lot of views with the same kind of fortune-telling program called TIL, I Can See the Future. Oh, today I learned post that. So here's how it went. First, Utani gave the audience some time to ask questions. He left the camera's field of view. After that, there was the sound of someone knocking at the door. It was faint, but the mic picked it up. There's also some voices, but you can't make them out. When he came back in front of the camera, half of his right arm was missing. It was chopped up into tiny bits and sitting on top of the plate he was carrying. Then he started eating his own fingers, like he wasn't feeling any pain at all. Kurosu's expression changed a little. She probably hadn't known that. The suicide had been big news, even on TV, so she'd probably seen it there, but the details had been so horrific that the news hadn't broadcast them. But those details could be found anywhere on the internet. It was only a matter of time before someone started putting it all together. The video itself even started to get around. Then, after a moment, he started to scream in pain. And then he died. Evidently, the viewers thought it was some kind of gag or something at first. Hypovolemic shock. When the body loses too much blood, the heart stops working properly. That's what it said in the police report, and given the time until he collapsed, it's almost certainly right. Ito added, Ito knew more about this stuff than I did. He was a fan of bizarre murders, and he'd read 10 times as many killer diaries and non-fiction crime books as I had. The most likely theory is that he experienced some kind of mental disorder before the suicide, but the police are supposedly looking for whoever visited the room first. They might be responsible for aiding and abetting a suicide. In Japan, if you saw someone trying to kill themselves and didn't intervene, it wasn't a crime unless the police could prove you wanted them to die. But aiding in a suicide or encouraging someone to commit suicide was illegal. That meant that the police were probably looking for whoever met Utani just before his death. Kurosu was silent, but she was looking at the board and seemed to be listening. It seemed safe. On to the next case. Second, the case that occurred on the 19th. It gets its name, leaky noise, from the condition of the body, was found in. It happened here, in Shinsen. The girl's name was Momone Takayanagi, age 20. She was a Sangit singer on Nico Nia. She'd been getting really famous online singing anime theme songs. She was going to sing at the Restoration Festival too. Every sunny day, she'd always go to the same place at the same time and put on a performance in her fancy band costume. That day, she started her concert pretty late. But something was wrong. Her voice was small and it didn't sound like she usually did. And then in the middle of the concert, she died. Blood loss here too. She'd been stabbed in the stomach before she started the concert. Jesus, so that's how she died. What's strange was the condition the body was found in. Yuto, play the video. Sure thing. Ito tapped a few keys on the computer's keyboard. And a moment later... Huh? Is this really happening? She's dead. She's really dead. Call an ambulance. Is this Toxie? What? Kurosu looked confused when she heard the sound. Evidently, she wasn't able to make it out. Oh, not that one. The one Shibuya News upped with the enhanced audio. Oh, that one. Yeah, Same sounds. Is this really happening? She's dead. She's really dead. Call an ambulance. Thanks. Take it easy. Thanks. Take it easy. Thanks. Take it easy. Thanks. Take it. Damn. Well, it kind of tracks. Because when we were in her perspective, before she died, she had mentioned wanting to get a speaker and record her performances. So that way she could perform, like, live in front of people without enchanting them. So maybe she just did that. And then she had the speaker. Played that on repeat. Her expression changed. She must have been able to hear it this time. Thanks. Take it easy. According to their regulars, that's how she would begin every performance. She's a Nico Nia user after all. Lately, people have been saying she's the best Sangit singer around. Kurusu seemed to be ignoring me and Ito. She was staring at the computer screen that was the source of the sound. What was that? The screams were from the audience members who discovered the bodies. One of them was recording a video, and that last part was in Takianagi's voice. It was from a miniature speaker embedded in her stomach. Oh! Cut open and then stuffed with a speaker. Kurusu seemed confused, so Ito interjected. In other words, the concert that day had been pre-recorded. Evidence found later indicated she'd slit open her own stomach with a utility knife she got at a convenience store, then stuck a Bluetooth speaker inside. So that is consistent. I shouldn't say consistent, but it's similar to how the other guy died. She probably had a similar delusion where she thought she was doing something, but was actually harming themselves. She closed up the wound with duct tape, not that it actually did much good. Then she used her clothes and the outfit to hide the wound and started her performance. At first, she played the guitar along with the sound of her recorded voice, but after a while, she stopped playing. Holy shit. That was when she leaned forward and didn't get back up, so she was probably already dead then. But while the audience thought it was strange, they kept listening. Either the blood from her wounds broke the portable music player in her pocket, or maybe it was supposed to be this way from the start. But until that same line you just heard put over and over, no one realized she was dead. Fuck. Kurusu's face was a mixture of confusion and discomfort. Of course it was. She'd never heard of anything like this. I couldn't hold back my excitement. Amazing, right? Instead of agreeing, Kurusu's brow furrowed. She probably didn't realize it, but she'd wrapped her arms around herself. What was wrong? Was it a little too creepy? And? All we've done so far is go over what we know. What's your discovery? Oh, yeah, he was right. I used the computer to print out a series of pictures. Obviously, we don't know what the motive behind the two killings are. The one suspect we've got is whoever visited Otani's room, and we don't know who they are, what they wanted, or what they were talking about. But I think there's more of this to come. It's only a guess, though, based off of something the victims have in common. Huh? Siri? Seriously? Ito leapt out of his chair in shock. Well, I couldn't blame him. We spent forever going over things they could have had in common. All we came up with was that they both lived in Shibuya, and that they had both used Nico Nia. The only other things are that they were both semi-famous, and they both died in a bizarre way. But that didn't tell us anything we didn't already know, did it? So you didn't see the other thing that they had in common? I pointed toward the bulletin board as I spoke. Ito looked really annoyed. Damn it, you arrogant asshole! What's up with that damn thing you're printing out anyway? Yeah, that noise pissed me off. One of the best parts to finding something like this was seeing the angry look on his face. Well, it was only yesterday that I found it myself, though. Relax. What did you find? Kurusu beckoned for me to go on. No matter what she said after hearing all this, she probably wanted to know what came next. Oh, it was done printing. Kazuki suddenly stood in front of me. She offered me the printed images without a word. Thanks. She offered me something. Then she offered me something else. Lollipop. A lollipop? You giving me this? She nodded. Thank you. Thanks. Kazuki seemed to be communicating in her own unique way. She walked over to the bulletin board and tapped the data printouts on the two cases with her finger. Kazuki, what's wrong? She did it again. I saw the part she was pointing at and nodded. That's right. The dates. The 7th, the 19th. That's what they have in common. Strange deaths on September 7th and September 19th. Ring a bell? I kept looking at Ito. Usually, he would be the one to pick up on this. A second later... Oh. He froze. He must have figured it out. Yep. With your love of weird murders, you know what I'm talking about. I pinned the images I just printed out onto the bulletin board's map. September 7th. The group dive. Shit. The amount of blood in the name. Shit. September 19th. The pregnant man. September 29th. Crucified. October 10th. The vampirer. October 23rd. Brain dead. October 28th. Yummy hand. November 4th. The DQN puzzle. The new generation madness. Yep. 6 years ago in 2009, a series of strange deaths had occurred just before the earthquake that struck Shibuya on November 6th. They became famous for the words left at the scene of every crime. Those eyes. Whose eyes? Just because I'm used to it being those eyes, whose are they from the anime, I think I'm just gonna say that whenever that text pops up. Because that's what I have ingrained in my mind, even though I remember nothing else about any of this. They call the killings the new generation madness. The murderers... that should be the murders. It says the murders, I'm fucking stupid. The murders took place in Shibuya, but the whole country took an interest in them. At the time, I was in 6th grade, and just like a lot of people, I followed every new development on the internet. The dates match up exactly with the dates of the murders 6 years ago. They may be set up to look like suicides, but they're every bit as weird as the old killings. It's a coincidence. She seemed to be trying to force the words out of her throat. Kurusu was acting a little strange. Her arms clenched her torso even tighter. Vice President? Maybe it was because of all the creepy pictures she'd seen. Urusu was clearly shaking. She tried her best to stop it as she spoke. Stop trying to connect every little event. It's just a coincidence that they line up. We'll know for sure soon. The third New Generation Madness took place on September 29th. In other words, today. If something weird happens in Shibuya again, we'll know for sure. If a coincidence happens 3 times, it's not a coincidence anymore. Right. So right now, just because it's happened twice, doesn't mean anything. But it's a little weird that it happened twice. A phone rang. It was mine. Hello? Yes, help? There's been a murder. Or maybe an accident. Anyway, I think what you said might have happened. I could feel my heart starting to race as she spoke. It was a love hotel area in Dogenzaka, 5 minutes from Shibuya Station. A few days ago, there had been some kind of suspicious fire here, and I'd come to do some reporting. The place was supposed to be a love hotel spot, but even at night when business should have been booming, it wasn't particularly exciting. During the day, when all the lights were turned off, if you didn't look at the signs, it wouldn't look very different from your average neighborhood. A discreet love hotel. One of the buildings was a 4-story love hotel with the terrible name Fairy's Dance. It faced a narrow street and there was no parking lot, so the police car was parked at a meter nearby. This way! Sarika was standing in front of a general store some distance away. She was supposed to be spending the day taking photos of the area around the last 2 crime scenes. What happened? This in the past? Or this now? I don't know. I passed again by near the 107 and he told me something was up here. Just don't get that guy. Where does he find out about this stuff? It's helpful, so I guess it doesn't matter too much. Gen was a homeless man who I knew who had sold me all the books in my secret stash. He was a drunk who claimed to be of noble blood, but the stories he told me about his past didn't sound very noble at all. The guy was a weirdo, but since he spent all his time wandering around Shibuya, he knew a surprising amount of info about it. But it seems like something's really happening, though. The policeman who just went in looked like he was asking for backup. I see. I decided to start taking a video of the outside of the hotel with my smartphone. You run really fast at times like these. I left the 2 of them in the club room, and they'd only just not caught up with me. Okay, so this is present. They must have ran here. Ito especially with breathing very heavily. And that, y'all, is where we're going to end it for tonight. We're a little over time. Fine. But yeah, thank you all so much for joining me on the very first delve into Delusions of Chaos Child. I appreciate it very much. We'll be back Tuesday with an undisclosed game that I'm undecided on, but it will be something, and I will be playing it. Next Friday will be more of this, so if you enjoyed it, come back. As I mentioned, it's a slow start. It has a lot of whiplash effects, it feels. It goes like, oh, here's this really serious stuff, and then we're in a classroom chatting up with our classmates. So, we'll have to see how this goes. It seems to be picking up, so hopefully it will keep doing that. And all that fun stuff. So, again, thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Yeah, shit. So, I hope you all have a wonderful night, evening, afternoon, whatever you're doing right around the world. And I will see you all next time. See ya.